Hello, YouTube. Welcome to The Cut, second week, episode 26. Glad you're here with us. If you're still watching these, awesome. Thank you, YouTube. I don't follow the analytics at all, so I hope you do. Let's go with bullying. It rhymes. Bully Bucky. We're going to bully Bucky. Bucky, what happened 2 weeks ago?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yes. On the spot.
We made it to Ren's Fork. We had an interesting encounter with a little guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh.
He's Gringle, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly some kind of corpse bird up in the trees might be following us. But yeah, after that we made it to the town and we were greeted by the leader of the town, whose name I also forget.
That is Baron Maximiliano de Cruz.
And yeah, after that, I think that's where we left off. And he has a following of tieflings. That's what I remember.
What a following! I would say it's a collective. It's a group. It's his peeps. But yeah. Very, very easy to kind of go through there as well. So, with that, on our last venture into the Everworld for the Seekers of Galanti, they traveled far and wide, further south towards Ren's Fork, coming across a rather interesting gnomish man known as Mr. Gringo Sallow. I'm sorry, Gringo. Gringle. Take a shot. Mr. Gringo Sallow, and he effectively welcomed himself to the party, was very happy to get an assistance of traveling through and near to the party themselves. Woo, there we go. We're not touching that. And overall, just was happy to be taken along for a ride. I'm going to actually move the map a little bit more so Ren's Fork is more center. So, upon that, a brisk night's journey and then a quick arrival, seeing a number of individuals fleeing from the river's crossing, seeming to head further northeastern along the road. The group arrived in Ren's Fork and were somewhat surprised. I don't know. Were you surprised? To be greeted just outside the gates by Baron Maximiliano de Cruz, the Baron, or so he says, of Ren's Fork and the town itself. With a good hefty greeting, the Baron welcomed them to the small town of Ren's Fork, and of course welcomed them into his own manor home, allowing each of them their own room, even one for Morgan, sized and perfectly made for those of the smaller Fey folk. The group sought to it, and in their best interests to clean up, relax, take in a little bit of the atmosphere and culture of the area before making plans or deciding if they were going to have interesting dinner conversation or if they wanted instead to save it for the morning once they're more well-rested and adjusted. That is where we currently find the party, as you all have entered into your own personal rooms. Most likely at this point, found yourselves in better hygiene for the most part. And now, if you are re-meeting one another within the hallways, and fresh, clean, noble clothing and attire that has been provided to you, found in the wardrobes and dressers of the rooms themselves, it is up to you guys to decide what you would like to do.
Can I do a history check on the Baron to see if I've heard anything about him or his family?
Sure, go right ahead.
Same.
Oh, geez. Yes, go right ahead. I have to turn.
Am I loud?
Yeah, I like it. No, you're good. You're good. I can adjust you easier than you can adjust you. All right, there we go. Blew my ears out. Go for it. All right, say it again, JJ. We'll tell your result. That way I can test your volume. That's a good idea.
I got 12.
Okay, that's a little bit better. I'm gonna pump you up to 80. I had you at 110. We'll try 80. That works. Okay, you got a 12. And Vel, what did you get for history?
17.
17. Okay. So we'll start with JJ, and then we'll add the extra from what Vel would know. So JJ, you have a very passing knowledge of the Baron. The De Cruz family is a southern noble family that wasn't always so. There are whispers on the wind, primarily that you would come across through taverns and kind of just like an exchanging of knowledge, that the Baron himself is an individual that was a commoner and is born from common stock, but due to their family's involvement in many of the giant wars throughout Ravon and the reclamation of the plains of Idrin, they were granted a small kind of noble set. Many have a number of harsh words for Baron de Cruz, most claiming him to be a what's the right word? A fetishist, I think, is the right word for that. An individual that finds softer company amid what many would call monstrous races, rather than that of his own people. And for that, while he still holds now a noble title higher than his father and his grandfather before him, there is a bit of bile in every word for this individual. With his 17, and with your background, Vel, you fairly have a pretty good understanding of who De Cruz is. The Baron is rather well known to the south, Ren's Fork itself being the illegitimate kind of key and gate to the Kingdom of Ravon. Many trade deals and a number of merchants that hail further from the south, especially in the kingdoms of Aurelia, that any that want to head north have to do dealings with the Baron. Ren's Fork itself has become, in many years, a hotbed of trade, as it is, again, the gateway into Ravon, especially the southern gate. Many people will, of course, make the argument geographically that the small port city that is still under a tenuous neutrality, known as Orin, is often considered more of a trade hub than Ren's Fork, but nothing gets in through the land that doesn't pass through Ren's Fork. Many know that the steam fields are not adequately set up for heavy trade, and through this, the knowledge of your understanding of the Baron is one who is willing to be the bridge between the humanic countries and towns of Ravon and that of the southern lands, both for the Autumnus as well as for Aurelia itself. And Aurelia itself kind of is a bit of a nation that serves as a buffer to lands further south than that. So yeah, you would have an understanding that the Baron is rather open-minded as compared to many of the individuals you've come across in this area. Bucky and Velithil, unless you traveled by boat to arrive within your kind of current cohabitation within Deerwood, you would have likely passed through Ren's Fork, even if it was just momentarily. While not a very large city, in fact, it's closer to a town or like a hamlet, it is still prosperous, and there are a number of people that have temporary housing set up around the area.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Of course. There's your history lesson for the day, kids. All right. So, checks made. You all, again, are in the hallway. Likely, you would congregate around one of the small common rooms. There are a number of adjoining chambers that are open-doored, no like barred doors or closed or locked things, but just small seating areas for kind of just like short tables and chairs, a general meeting place for those that are staying in the company, or rather the comforts that the Baron can provide. Anything to say to your fellow man or woman?
Well, I guess I'll step out of my room, right? I'm still
yeah.
And...
you guys would have cleaned up by now, being at the end of the last episode, and switched out much of your kind of well-worn traveling attire, unless you wanted to keep it on for any reason. But switching out most of your traveling clothes for kind of noble fitting. Many of the outfits provided are in various sizes, effectively expecting guests. Much of it is kind of one size fits most. And even then, there are sizes that fit goblins and dwarves and halflings, and there are a number of accommodations met for those individuals as well. Specifically, like Orville would find in his room, a number of like scooted in stools and like step ladders that are slid under the bed in the event that the room would need to be made habitable for a shorter statured individual. But yeah, you'd already be cleaned up. If you want to wear your armor around the manor, you're more than welcome to. If not, you would be wearing whatever you choose to, usually like fine fancery, maybe like a nice silk or linen blouse or shirt, easy to wear, kind of pull up lace belted pants, and just bright colors. The Baron himself is a rather lavish individual, and much of the dress that is provided to you for being guests is much of the same. But you find yourself amid the other seekers, unless there's anything you want to do before heading back and rejoining the group. You'd be sitting in one of these small common areas just so you have a place to discuss and decide what you want to do as far as for your next move, and when you would like to take the Baron up on his graciousness at this point.
I feel like Colt wouldn't know how to dress fancy, so he'd probably throw the fancy clothes and then his armor on top.
Okay, yeah, that's easy.
Put it on.
So you have like a nice stuffed like laced front shirt. You couldn't figure out, probably Colt can't figure out this, like the puff that goes around, like the collared, the big floofy puff. So he's just like, F that. Nice, like beautiful linen, dyed pants, perfectly hemmed, and then a suit of plate mail right on top that you've strapped in, just pieces, like your cuffs are probably puffed out anywhere the armor doesn't fully link up. And there's like good couple inches of cloth poking out from the various sides of the strapped in armor. Doesn't fit quite as tight as your leather walking.
Bucky's not going to dress fancy either. He's going to wear his armor.
Bucky has his breastplate, no shirt on underneath. Yeah, you do note that the small housekeepers, the few tiefling individuals that greeted you to the rooms, had made mention that there is the opening or offering that anything you leave in the dirty laundry baskets in your rooms will be cleaned, laundered, and made ready for you by the following morning.
JJ will wear her own fancy clothes, I suppose.
Ooh, she pulls out her noble's outfit. Or is it just fancy clothes?
The performer's garb that she's got.
Oh yeah, okay, that works. A lot of bright colors for storytelling. Big heavy scarf, I imagine. Yeah. I like to, I always like to imagine, like, for some people, performance garb is probably like a belly shaking outfit. But for like JJ's case, I imagine it's like more like spoken word poetry jam kind of stuff, like a big floofy, yeah, like not a full pantsuit. She's not, but it's like a beret, a scarf, like a big
black turtleneck.
Yeah, black turtleneck that doesn't quite fit right. Couple coffee stains on it, and she's just like, yeah,
skinny jeans.
Yeah. Skinny denim. Yeah, it's like pleated denim. You're just like, oh god. What about you, Vel?
Well, I do have my own set of fine clothes. I will take care of all the amenities offered here, and I will put my traveling clothes out to be laundered and just wear something simple and comfortable.
Okay, yeah, easy to do. There are a number of, especially in the women's rooms that have been provided, there are a number of, not like scandalous like silks and things, but there are a number of like soft summer dresses that are inlaid in there, as well as a number of winter attire with long sleeves that might fit to form fashion for Vel.
Yeah, I definitely have one sleeve that's just hanging loose.
Yeah. You just have like this nice, beautiful sleeve that just hangs at your side. Orville, how about you?
Orville's gonna ask whoever showed him to the room if they could sew a couple of holes shut in his pillowcase if he left it in the dirty laundry.
One of the tieflings that had shown you to your room and their like pressed suit kind of looks you over and goes, "You have a couple of holes in a pillowcase. I mean, I understand the road is a bit lonely, but I suppose
not like that. Yeah.
Well, Why would you have holes in a pillowcase otherwise?
Well, I needed a mask, but I don't need that no more. It's very sentimental to me.
We'll make sure that it is rather well taken care of for you, sir.
Thank you.
As you were, my lord.
After that, he's gonna scan the room for slippers or some sort of somewhat appropriate footwear.
Yeah, you look around. There actually are like a number of like slip-ons that you can find. They're actually made, from what you can tell, out of like a deer hide outset, and on the inside it actually is like fully felted out deer fur for like pure comfort for wearing around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's stuff.
Yeah,
All right, so we're gonna throw those on. We're gonna throw on some nice clothes and make our way out.
All right, you walk on out. You all dress in your various clothing options, your choices, and you make way. You arrive at the common room. You all again come into view of one another. Decisions to be made and choices to be had. What would you all like to do?
That's quite a statement, Colt.
What do you mean? I think I look nice.
That's what I mean. You look fantastic, and I think you'll turn a lot of heads.
Indubitably. I learned that word. Someone said it, I think, in here. I gotta be fancy now. This fancy
That
coat.
sure is fancy, Colt.
I'm sure they'll all be fooled.
I'm very impressed with your vocabulary today.
Thank you. Touche.
This is going to be fun. I think we discussed it a little bit before taking our pampering breaks. But we were offered either meet for dinner or breakfast. Anyone have a preference?
I mean, we're already dressed up. We might as well go for dinner. I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about it, but
Well, if we can get a nice meal, kind of maybe bond a little bit, and then I guess if we get everything handled, settled, and talked about tonight, we can head out in the morning.
I agree.
I'm not opposed to it. I haven't had a good meal in quite a few days.
Easy to believe. So, Bucky, anything to say?
Bucky just kind of rubs his stomach.
I could use food that didn't come out of a ration for once. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You
good
all
lord.
talked those rats up so much.
These rats
They
were
were
a
quite
delicacy.
spicy, Val.
Now you're saying you didn't have a good meal. I don't know.
They were good. They were just spicy.
A little hot. A little hot.
Just a little hot.
All right. So, sounds like everyone, for the most part, is on board for meeting up this evening and making dinner arrangements with the... There we go. I think I did that. Yeah. Making dinner arrangements with the Baron, if that's correct. Right? Yes. Ooh. And new bar is done. Look at that. Boom. We did it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mid-game updates.
Mid-game updates. That's right. We're cutting edge technology here. No days off. So, with that, you all discuss among yourselves for a few minutes before informing one of the individuals who is currently butlering for the Baron himself. You look over the area, make mention of wanting to partake in dinner. And they, of course, greet you and look you over, and you hear from one of them go, "Oh, very good. The Baron will be very excited to have dinner guests. It'll be just the 5 of you then?"
Where's Morgan?
She might be rested.
Very
Did she-
small. She
did
gets
she
tuckered
sneak
out very
off?
easily.
Yeah, she can't do what we can.
Who's gonna go
Anymore.
get
Why
her?
are we whispering?
Who should go check on her? Should we bring her along? I think we should bring her along.
Up to you guys.
We'll go ask Bork in her opinion.
All right, you cautiously open the door to the much kind of like minimized room that they had placed her in. The bed is much smaller. The room itself seems to be what might have been at one point a little bit larger, of like a walk-in hallway closet that has now been refurbished into a kind of a lavish room for individuals of the 1 to 3 foot club, as she now finds herself. As you look it over, you can see Chunkini has been summoned, and a very exhausted rogue now lays flat-faced on the large slumbering cat, almost taking after the feline herself.
Right, just close the door very softly. Look to the butler. So if you could just have something, some food delivered to her room, that would be lovely. Let her rest.
Of course, I'd be happy to.
So yes, it'll just be the 5 of us then.
Very good. And if you're ready, then we'll take you to the dining room.
Lead the way.
Very good. Right this way. And you see the individual turn, whip one arm back behind the small of their back, and begin to kind of like usher the remaining of you throughout the various large halls of this manor home. As you pass through, you do note that there are a number of platitudes as far as for large set pieces of art that have all been hand painted that seem to depict the various landscapes surrounding Ren's Fork. There is a very beautifully done oil painting on one of the walls that depicts the Middlehearth Mountains and a kind of like bright, foggy day that crests across that. Other hallways as well seem to be adorned with various decorum favoring much of the arts. You see everything from hand-carved statues to well-polished metallic effigies and suits of purely decorative armor that sit along these various hallways. It takes the better part of about 5 minutes of walking through these hallways of this large manor home. Yes, Orville.
Does any of the art strike me as odd or out of place at all?
Go ahead and, well, that's kind of like a gut check. I can't make you roll gut check. Let me check his manor home real quick. That's a good question. I want to be like, what would you consider odd? But it could legitimately be anything. Let's see. You're coming from the visitors area. Down this hallway, we have paintings of landscape, small bus. Yeah, the most odd piece you'd probably pass by in that area, you note a small alcove, no more than, if you've ever been by like long stretching hallways and like museums, for the most part, they have like a small half circle alcove. There is one at the midsection before the hallway itself kind of veers a bit northward towards the connecting area for the main house. And in this small alcove, you actually note there are a number of softly lit and burning incenses that surround what comprises about a bust up of a female, some type of strange looking, not strange looking, but odd in the sense that she is not human, I should say, is the more kind of concerning thing. You look over her visage, and there seems to be telltale signs that this is the bust up of a tiefling woman. While she doesn't have large horns, there are small kind of like protruding nubs from the very front of her forehead that would allude to the fact that she was still in like early development for her tiefling heritage. But it does seem rather strange to have a bust of a tiefling in a human baron's estate home.
Or we'll stop and pause and look it over for a few seconds before falling back into line.
Okay, no problem. Anything you're looking for in particular, or just taking it in?
No, just taking it in.
All right. Yeah, you look it over. It is a very striking, lifelike bust. Whoever sculpted it did quite well, and the marbling on it is very, very immaculately done.
Could I roll a religion check on it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
10.
10. You look it over. If there is a religious significance, you're not 100% sure of it. It could be. I mean, it could be a lesser, maybe like priestess or something of that nature. But I mean, at this point, depending on who you are, certain people might be that in your group. Like Bucky could be, the next satyr lord that escaped out of the South. It all depends on like perspective in that sense. So you look at her and it's like there's no like markings or jewelry that would denote that she might be a religious figure, a prominent member of a following.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Of course. So with that, you guys move forward. It takes about 5 minutes or so of travel before reaching the main helm, and both double doors are swung open as the pair of maids at the farthest most area opens up to a very large and beautiful estate room that runs the length of a good chunk of the main home. You look and there are a number of chandeliers that hang overhead, a very heavy set lined table that could possibly seat as many as 20 or 30 guests by your count. It seems as if only half the table has been dressed, and you see the Baron standing at the far southern end of the table, still stood with his hands over the top of the chair. At that end, he smiles and gives a small kind of nod to the rest of you, and calls out, greetings, my friends. Please, come forward. I'm so happy to be hearing of the dinner reservations that you have accepted, yeah?
I will approach. Yes, I thank you for treating us, Baron. It's very kind.
But it is, of course, the way of the land here. Rensfork gets a terrible name among my countrymen, but I want you to assure that while you are here, you are like family to me, eh?
That's good to know.
Very good indeed. Please, your seats. And as he gestures forward, you see 5 well-dressed tieflings walk forward and slide your chairs out for you. And they each kind of like make sure to take a small cloth and brush the bottom of your seat clean for you before kind of gesturing that you may sit.
Go ahead and take a seat.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay. So as you sit, you find the chairs are remarkably comfortable. Again, no expense seeming spared from much of this room. As you look it over and you kind of take in the scenery, you can note that there again is this kind of overwhelming lavishness to the place. The chandeliers are decorated in small, not innately expensive or any intrinsic value, decorative pieces of crystal that hang from various portions of the chandeliers. You look over, the table itself is all hand carved, well oiled and well treated. The table setting and the plates you're looking across are all made of very well polished silver. The silverware itself is actual silver. He broke out the good china, and you do note that even the chairs you're sitting in are all individually hand carved and don't seem to bear any resemblance or markings for those of you of an arcane nature that these were produced in mass. Instead, they were all individually made by carpenters, and you can tell there are small not so much flaws, but differences in each chair as it was each individually made. Colt, as you sit down in your chair, there is a very heavy groan that's from the wood of the chair, your heavy plate mail weighing down much of it. The small flap that guards your rear waist kind of has to be flipped up and slid between the portion of your seat and the backing of your chair, and kind of like tuck it in there just so it doesn't scrape up the wood too much. But after you all sit, the Baron, of course, pulls his chair out himself. He doesn't have a servant or a butler do it for him. And he sits graciously. He goes, I am so very happy to be in a company of the Weaver's Chosen. I have heard far and wide that your people are the next best thing to godlyhood, yeah?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd say that, but I mean we're pretty good at what we do, I guess.
Oh, and humble as well. I like this. It is rather curious, though, I must say. While we have dinner prepared, and he turns and gestures, he goes, "The hors d'oeuvres, please. We want to pick with the fingers, eh?" And you see a number of the tieflings like kind of give a nod. Many of them leave the room, leaving just you and the Baron by yourselves. Before very quickly, a number of serving trays are come out and sat between many of you on the table. You look, and as the tops of these are revealed, you see a number of small not so much like pastries, but they seem to be mostly like spinach puffs and small kind of like picking foods. A collection of fresh shrimp amid ice and crushed dipping sauces is all displayed. You look it over and you can see there are even small pieces of what you assume and smells like a fried chicken ball. But as it's sat down and the lid is lifted, the tiefling closest to those of you for the dish goes, "Oh, do be careful of those. They're full of cheese and they will burn you. Just a fair warning." And the Baron goes, "It is a guilty pleasure. I know it is not technically up to high society, but my goodness, the bubbling aroma of cheese is just a delight. And it's it is a powerful feeling to be shared with friends, eh?" The serving maids kind of like bow their heads. He goes, "We will await dinner until we have a moment to discuss. I think," he turns and looks to you. He goes, "Wine, yeah? Or do you drink? I don't want to be rude."
Wine,
yes,
please.
Very good. Pull out 3 bottles. I would like the Irdrin Evergreen from, oh goodness, the 76th. And you see the maids kind of turn and nod, and hear, very good, my lord. And they walk off. He goes, "Very good. All right then. So please help yourselves. I assume the road has treated you raggedly. Not to say your clothes were any less well kept or put together that I would expect from individuals of your station, but it is a perilous road that you walk, of course. And I want you to know that here at Ren's Fork, the sacrifices that you make in your daily lives are very welcomed here. We thank you for all that you do, and truly, I would be beside myself if I did not treat you with the absolute respect of which you are deserved, eh?"
Well, we do appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
It is not kind of me at all. It is expected of me, eh?
Indubitably.
A very good word, indubitably. Yeah, very difficult to say, eh? But overall, it works out the best for us. So, Weaver's chosen, I think you say, Gulanti Seekers, huh? You say you have come, and my friend the Inquisitor has made light of a situation that you are investigating regarding funny money, yeah?
Yes, yeah. We're trying to investigate some counterfeiting going on near the steam fields. Some counterfeiters.
Oh, that is terrible. And as he speaks, he reaches forward and grabs one of the chicken and cheese balls, these fried balls, and he kind of like rips it open in front of the small kind of snack plate that's been sat on the very top of your, if you've ever been to like a fancy dinner, you have a big eating dinner plate and then you have a small plate on top. He kind of breaks it apart there and you can see this like steaming gooey cheese that kind of like foams out from the center of it. He goes, oh, it's hot. Sorry. And you hear him start lapping at the top of his roof, the roof of his mouth. He goes, oh, it's so good, but it burns. They don't lie. They make it so hot. Yes, I hear the thing you're going on about, but my memory is not as good as I want it to be. But I do recall, not too far gone, other Gulanti boys and girls. They come here and they talk of the same thing, and I believe they solved the problem, yeah?
Seems from what we've been told there were some loose ends ends that may have not been tied up.
Oh my goodness, loose ends?
Well, the individuals, or some of them, were directly dealt with. A base of operations hidden within the steam fields may still be out there.
Yeah, base of operations. All right. As you're speaking, 6 glasses, these bright, kind of like crystalline and gold inlaced wine glasses are sat. You see these bright, kind of like almost unfitting of wine bottles for things that are expected to last long times. Bucky, you look, and the bottles themselves are the type that are mostly for display for like celebrations or anniversary batches. Many of them are not meant to be kept, and those that are meant to be kept in very, very pristine conditions. The Baron takes the bottle that is presented to him, looks it over, and he goes, perfection. And he puts a small corkscrew in it, pops the front of it, sniffs it, and hands it back. He goes, that'll be wonderful, eh? And they go and they pour, and you can see this kind of like sparkling, bright purple wine that actually has like a small popping sound, like a fizz to it. And you look, and you can see this kind of like almost dancing coloration that while the wine glass is only filled up halfway, as you're supposed to, you can see these brightly colored, almost arcane lights that dance over just the very top of the layer of liquid. This is very much enchanted wine. And he looks it over and goes, glorious things, eh? To new friends, my friends. And you each have a glass poured for you.
Chiji's gonna put a hand over her glass and say, no, thank you. I don't really drink wine. But I also, can I roll insight or something to see if he's like maybe taking it in too nonchalantly?
Sure, yeah, if he's playing
About
aloof.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and roll insight for that. 13. You look him over, you attempt to get a read of him. He does appear rather aloof and uncaring, but in your short experiences and times with nobles of Ravan, it kind of seems to be the thing. The noble you assisted over in Tiber Village was much of the same. He was more stressed out because it's his livelihood, but even then it never really seemed to hit that individual that like his livelihood was at stake. And it seems to be kind of a passing thing for this area. Those that are wealthy are wealthy.
Thank you.
Of course. The Baron goes, I am not being mean to, insult you with the wine. Is there anything else you'd like to drink? I can get you a cider, a water, maybe a bourbon or a whiskey.
No, I'm quite all right. I've brought my own from home, if you will. But I do appreciate it. I'm sure it's lovely. Just wine gives me the worst hangover.
Worst hangover? Oh my goodness. Well, okay, no more than one glass for you. You drink too much, eh?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, hey, watch you. Make sure, we don't drink that much. Okay, I understand. That's fine. Yes, you have your hand up. Wait, come on, we are friends here. You're fine. No, what do you need?
I'm gonna put my hand in front of my glass like JJ did. I'm probably gonna do it clumsily, I imagine.
As you put your hand over it and you kind of like go to like encircle your fingers over the top like JJ did, you all hear this kind of like screeching sound as the metal gauntlet from your plate mail kind of like taps the side of the crystal. And you're all like, ugh! The Baron kind of like does this like his eyes close and he's like, oh, okay. Oh, yes, I'm awake now. Don't worry. Yes, sir. No, it's all right. What do you need, my friend?
May I have some of that bourbon? I'd really appreciate that. I'd love some of that.
Some bourbon? Yeah, no. Do you mind? I get you some bourbon. It'll be fine. And he turns and goes, excuse me, a glass of, just an empty glass. You have your own, you say, yeah? Miss?
Glass?
No.
I'll just pour it in the wine glass, but I could always take a fancy glass too. That's fine.
All right, that's fine. So you drink the glass you have, and then you can. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. What we'll say a bottle, yeah, a bottle for our red friend. Maybe bring a small, like with a rock, right in the middle, and that'd be good for you, yeah.
Yep, that perfect.
Okay, yeah. So a small ball glass for him, huh? And you see the tiefling that is still in the room. While many of them have like the serving class has all kind of like walked out. This one individual seems in like a very well-dressed suit and kind of nods and goes, "Of course, sir. More than happy to do that for you, sir. We'll have it right out." And he walks in and, true to his word, walks right back out of the kitchen, presents to you a large kind of square-looking bottle with a nice crystalline topper, and he uncorks it and sits it down there, and has a small kind of whiskey glass with a large ball of ice in the middle of it. And he sets it down in front of you, and he goes, "Do you require us to pour it for you, sir? I can have someone assigned to be your drink pourer for the night."
No, that's fine. Y'all don't need to do that. That's unnecessary, but thank you.
The tiefling, like, gingerly puts a hand on your shoulder. He goes, "Then if I might ask between gentlemen, you take off those atrocious gloves. Not for nothing, but a single glass is worth more than your armor."
Oh, well, I don't want fancy stuff. I thought y'all just had some good hooch or something. And oh, yeah, touche, sir. Touche. I'm going to take off my gloves.
"Thank you, your lordship."
Thank you, your lordship as well.
"Yes." And you see him kind of like lean back and go, "If there's anything else you might need, just raise your hand."
Thank you. I appreciate it.
"Of course. I'd be like a hawk." He walks back, and again, he tends this servant, this tiefling individual, walks back the distance of the dining room and stands right between like the corner and where the double doors are leading to and from what you assume to be the kitchen, and seems to just take place there, straightens up, back flat, and mostly just kind of like keeps a vigil in the event that the Baron might need something. Baron de Cruz looks you all over and goes, "So there we go, eh? Everyone has a drink. Everyone has something they want, yeah? Very good. So, again," and he raises his glass, he goes, "might we be doing a toast to new friends, eh? Welcome faces. Beautiful people, all the way from, the Northwest, eh?"
Yes.
"Very good, a toast." And he reaches forward and drinks. For those of you partaking in the wine, it has a very rich and deep flavor. You note the moment that it touches your tongue, you can taste almost the seediness and the earthy tones of the field in which the very grapes for this wine were grown. You then feel a surge of flavor kind of crest through your mouth. Bucky, out of all the wines you've tasted, this is in easily the top 10. Like, almost immediately, if not top 5. It is very much accentuated in like a number of small, very minor enchantments in it that seem to allow the flavor to instantly coat the inside of your mouth and very much have this lingering, beautiful aftertaste to the point where as you breathe it in, you can almost breathe the flavor right back in as if you're sipping it again. It is very well done. The Baron looks and... "Very good. So, please, partake with the fingering foods, yeah? And, we talk business. You say, there are loose ends. What might still be loose? I hear they tracked down the last boy, run him down like a dog in the steam fields. They brought back, mangled shirts and pants, and they say, all is good."
Well, I don't mean to speak ill of our fellow weavers chosen, but I believe they were a bit rushed in their assessment, at least from what we've been told from those in Silverhearth. And so, consider this just a thorough checkup, an assurance that nothing else could be wrong or will go wrong.
Oh, of course, this is to say, implied, but of course I want to say for you, or rather Tuccio, everything that I have at my disposal is yours, eh? If you need me to have some of the local militia rough someone up or pull them out or tell them you dirty fucker, any of that, you can let me know and I will make that happen for you, huh?
Well, I don't know if any of that would be necessary immediately, but it is good to know it is on the table. I suppose the main thing I would ask for, if you have any ledger or keeping of whom the previous Weaver chosen spoke to or interacted with or requests that they had.
Oh, now I wanted to put a bit of a how they say a laissez-faire approach on it. I didn't want to get involved any more than I had to. I didn't try to track them or record them or harrow them at all. I felt like, Weaver's chosen, they clearly you know what you're doing. I didn't want to be. I feel like it's like when friends come to visit, you don't want to sit there and be like, is the fire too good for you? And, oh, how does your steak taste? And all this, you don't do, hover, a lot of hovering. So I kind of give them their space if they ask things,
Of course, but even when friends come to visit, you notice certain things. So any insight into what they may have chosen to investigate would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, of course. They investigate a number of things. Oh, goodness. Let me think here. He kind of leans back in his chair and reaches forward and grabs a shrimp and... Oh, they find an individual at the local tavern, eh? I believe that was with their first big, like a breakthrough, yeah? A lot of seedy people do come through Ren's Fork. We try our best, but, they don't really give us military, as to say. It's kind of volunteer fighting force a little bit, and then I try to outfit or use the taxes a little bit to reinforce that, but overall, every time that I try to do like a guard presence in the town, it gets a little... I have to ask people to step down, it's a lot of abuse of power. The Ravon and Silverheart, the king, he say, you have to have, so many humans like me on a formal guard, and they tend to be a little, what is the term, like heavy-handed. They beat the shit out of people, so I try to... It's a militia, we're just a bunch of friends. We kind of police each other, keep it, all nice and safe. But yeah, the local inn, the little drinkery that's down there, that's known as the River's Peace. They say they find someone in there who was dealing in coins, I think it was, or was it statues? I can't remember. Something or rather. But I think they killed that guy. I'm pretty sure I had to cart a body out. And he turns and looks to his butler. He goes, Sanderson, what happened with the guy from the tavern? I know there was some... You tell me something you had to do. And here, yes, sir. The Static, as they were known, were interrogating an individual in public who, as I will recall it, resisted arrest, and thus had to be put down like a sick dog. By the time that our men came and viewed the individual, they had a number of arcane burnings and pieces of them that were no longer quite the same. So there you have it. Yeah? They raise a hand to the old Weaver's Chosen. They smack them around a little bit, and they put it in place. They end up leaving town not too far after that. They head to the steam fields. I guess they find what they were looking for, huh? They came back, job well done. Some type of, I don't know, I think it was, oh god, they say so many words. There's something southeast, I think, like right on the edge of the steam fields. They say they found like a cabin and they ran through it, a bunch of bandits or something. I don't know. I had not even realized that we had a funny money problem until they tell me. By the time they show up, they knew more than I did,
Can I do an insight to see if that last statement was true?
Sure, go right ahead.
Eh, 17?
17. You look it over. You can tell the Baron is speaking words that he either believes are true or wants to believe are true. But there is definitely a lot of practice behind the way that he is speaking and the information that he's letting you know. It's not so much this start and stop manner of speaking that is dreadfully uncommon for this individual, but it is something that he is very much measuring his words out. You do note his butler at this comment kind of like seems to be like nodding along after every bit of information as if confirming like, yep, that's correct. Yep, that's correct. Almost as if he anticipates the answers before the questions are really asked.
Can I do a history check on Ren's Fork to find out if it's even like somewhat of an unknown criminal den, like somewhere where a lot of crime is, maybe even a lot of criminals come from Ren's Fork in any way?
So you wouldn't really need a history check for that. Between what Vel and JJ might have already known and kind of already figured out from most of like their assumptions, if you ask anybody from Avon, Ren's Fork is the seediest, most disgusting place in the world, and how we even allow that city to be on the border of such a great nation of Ravon is beside ourselves. Many people believe because the Baron allows cohabitation with other races, especially those that are considered to be lesser than to many of the noble families of Ravon. It is seen like if you ask anybody who is like a human-born son and daughter of Silverhearth, they might be like, oh yeah, Ren's Fork, disgusting, horrible monster place. Like they let elves go through there. Oh, they let tiefling just walk around in great clothes. Like, so to anyone historically that you would speak to in the Humanic colonies and the Humanic towns, they're going to tell you, yeah, it's a den of scum and villainy. But I mean, it's also like you've never heard anything like out and out bad about it as like a soldier or anything of that sort. Same with like Vel or JJ off of their previous checks. There's no like, you know, Ren's Fork, the place where you can murder hookers. Like there's nothing like horribly bad about it. That's like just like a known thing. So like even if you got like a 30 on your check or whatever, like the max you can possibly get, there's nothing like out and out that is like a big story. The most break news story that they've had is starting to circulate now, and it's that the Static routed a counterfeiting organization and like brought it to arm and brought it to bear. And again, with that, you know that from your employer, they mostly believe that's true. They just didn't have any forward knowledge of it. It was something that the Lady Galanti knew and sent the Weaver's Chosen to deal with, because it impacted her specifically. But you would remember from your employer that he was like, yeah, I think they dealt with it. I just want you to double check it on King's orders because I can't technically hire you for the thing I want you to do. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where you're here.
This is most likely actually taken care of from what we were told, and we're just taking this route to go up to Keen's Plummet to deal with that. So.
Oh, so yeah.
Sorry if that,
No, it's all
Sorry.
right.
I was gonna say sorry if that was all stuff that you guys already went over. I just
No,
We
it's
haven't
it's
really
good to
talked
recap
about
it.
in a while. It's been a little bit since we like had our discussion with the King's guy and whatnot, you know.
I think it's been like a month and a
that was
half.
a very slow-paced discussion to get all the info out of.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know who is running the counterfeiting operation?
Your employer didn't, and Lady Galanti never informed you of if there was a name. When you visited the Static, they said that they were chasing down an individual, but they didn't have a name that they provided or anything of that sort. It was very kind of like spotty details. For those of you trained in insight, you know that the Static are probably being a little bit coy about it, because they technically didn't make what they would call the final kill. The individual opened some type of object they were carrying, and they just assumed he died. Or they died, I should say.
Do we know if whatever that they were carrying they brought back, or was it destroyed and whatever the hell happened?
The static again are very spotty on the details, but from what they say, it was some type of cavalcade of magical energy that backfired on this individual and just smote them on the spot. But yeah, if you recall our previous episodes before you set off for Ravon, the static were very like, yeah, we got taken care of. We're good. Don't worry about it. So taking on this mission is kind of a little bit of a mix, because again, you were hired under the pretense that the spire was what you were being hired for, and then when you arrived, suddenly your mission became go check this thing out that they said existed.
Thank you.
Of course.
So we give it the old college try and make sure it's actually handled before we head to deal with the real problem. At least that's Belle's perspective on it.
That's JJ's too. Don't worry. Well, maybe we should, check things out at the tavern and make sure everything's all clear. But, I don't think, Mr. Baron De Cruz, I don't think you've really noticed anything weird since then, I suppose.
Let me think. No, I wouldn't say anything weird per se. It's I mean, we had a couple of visitors a while back. They were a little weird folk, but I don't like to judge, We like all of the horny people here. But they were stranger than most, to say the least. I don't want to profile. Seems a little unbecoming of a impartial individual like myself. But they had these what were they called? The tiefling kind of steps forward and goes, they had a small crowns of horns, typically in line with a number of individuals of the Falmer faith.
Can I history check that?
You can religion check it.
Can I religion check that as well?
You sure can, if you're trained in religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, so go ahead. Or
Yeah, no, Bible's upside down for this one. So
what's your total?
One.
It's a nat 1.
5.
Yeah, you're like, Falma. I don't know. Yeah. Sounds scary. Vel, are you trained in history?
I am trained in history and arcana, but not religion or nature.
Okay. You would recognize the name is of like a almost a, not necessarily perverted, but like messed up elven heritage. You're not quite sure what it is, but you have heard the term before. You're just not quite sure where to put your thumb on it. But the Baron kind of looks over and goes, "Yeah, they were dreadfully weird. Trying to, they were hassling a lot of the merchants. I had to send the militia after them just to kind of keep the peace, They were haggling for like really low prices on a lot of stuff, acid, fire, torches, swords, armor. I mean, they were trying to pretty much become their own little military when they came through here. And I have it on report here. They didn't come from the main road. They came through the festering marshes, which, that's some bad juju over there, yeah? Anyone who shows up on the wrong side of the river, I mean, I want to give them credit. They're good people, I'm sure. Their money is going to spend the same in the community. But it just don't sit right with me. Not many people come out of that place.
Bucky, you're from near there. What can you say about the festering marshes?
Could I do a history check on that?
Sure. Actually, just from where you're at, are you trained in history or trained in nature?
Nature, yeah.
Nature, okay. The festering marshes are actually a new kind of landmass that formed throughout recent events. Much of the sulfur and kind of like bubbling natural acidics that are ebbing and slowly bleeding out of Artnum and what remains of it, cuts clear through a mountain pass and drained into the land of the Festering Marches just to the west of Wren's Fork. The marches themselves are not like natural deposits of steam and heat like the steam fields are, where there's like actual seismic activity. This is a direct kind of like cause and effect of the world suffering a mortal blow. It is a place of like pestilence and pain, and many people who in your druidic circles, kind of like from where you were raised, would speak of it as like a bane and a plague across the lands of Ravon. It's kind of like a reminder of the foolishness from the last war.
It's a dark and twisted place. Run off from Artnum.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
I assure you, it is not nice. It's you walk in there and you look like your friend here, Honeyco, yeah.
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 Wait, what do you mean? Look
Well,
like me?
like if you wear the armor like this, yeah, you start getting like pox marks. Like you start hearing the sizzling and the popping, and then suddenly your armor turns into liquid and it drips on the ground. And then some people say that then the little puddle of armor that you had come to life, tried to kill you. You know, terrible shit. It's like
Say, Colt, we can have a trip in there and see how that works out. I'd love to study it.
Why do you want me to die so bad, Vel?
I don't want you to die. I want to see your armor melt and come to life.
I'm gonna enjoy my shrimp and whiskey.
oh, it's a good
Thought you
combo,
had
yeah.
bourbon.
It is a bourbon. I mean, but I wasn't going to correct him like that. I mean, it seems a little rude.
I mean, history check. Technically, bourbon is whiskey. It's just in Bourbon County, but Bourbon County doesn't exist in this world, so I'm gonna eat my shrimp and bourbon, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he also kind of ran about that, I guess. Eh?
And he likes to spout
Drink.
off correcting things of different worlds.
Oh, he'd be really good at there's this game show I seen called Actually, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, they came from the marshes. They had money, but very very sadistic looking individuals. Not something I would make friends with personally, but I try not to judge. But they seemed like they were on a mission, They were possessed of like a drive, an effort. They needed places to go, and they left town not too long ago, heading southward towards Orin. So maybe they want to sail far away from here. I'm not quite sure. But that would be the weirdest thing, yeah.
Well, that don't seem too connected with the funny money situation,
Oh yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just more of assurances and to put certain high-ranking individuals at rest towards how everything is just going perfectly right here in Wren's Fork.
Oh, of course. I make sure all the taxes are paid to the king. We make sure everyone who comes through here is counted. We make sure that, no peoples that are a danger to themselves or the communities of Ravon are let and given passage to. We stop them right at the gate and we say, you cannot come in, no. You're done. We check all their papers, mostly. Some of them don't have papers, but we just kind of have to eyeball them real good and be like, not this guy. This guy. No, not this guy.
Well, then once we see everything's in order, unlike before where the reports didn't quite go to Silverheart directly, we will be giving it to them, and everything should be handled. It all seems like a very cut and dry situation here to me.
Oh, yeah. Of course, it's very cut and dry. He says, speaking of cut and dry, the beef, where is? Come on now, the dinner, they're starving right now. Look how much they're starving. And like, you guys, even if you're trying to funnel food in your mouth, there's too much hors d'oeuvres just to like even worry about being hungry. The spinach puffs alone are like, there's too many for 6 people. The butler kind of nods. He goes, of course, sir. And they come out and they bring out new trays. They pick up and kind of move off to the side many of the hors d'oeuvres, and they set a large serving tray there, and it has freshly cut, very thin sliced beef and small dishes of a like hot brown liquid that are served out to each of you. And it is actually like a nice kind of like roasted beef dish that is provided to each of you. You were also provided a collection of like freshly made rice with a little bit of various vegetables that have been medleyed and moved into it. And of course, bread rolls are served as well. And he kind of goes, "Yeah, there we go. Now this is some food, yeah." And he starts fixing his plate and kind of going through. He dismisses the servants, and his butler returns to his position far from you. Goes, "Everything look okay? Yeah. You should have all your utensils. We're good. Yeah. Anyone, any allergies or something? I mean, I can get you a salad or like a stick of butter or something. I don't know. Allergies are hard. I don't know if like it's all right. It's all right. If you need anything else, just let me know, and I will make it available to you, eh?"
Thank you. This looks delightful.
Of course, of course.
Could you say recent events and some strange individuals? We were on our way here last night, and I didn't see it myself, but my companions did. A rather large representation of your guard heading north from here.
Oh, there's no more. Oh, excuse me. He goes to swallow and takes a sip of his wine. Goes because he was just full on eating because he was hungry, and he goes, yes. How do I say this? It's not exactly my guard. Again, I don't really keep a guard. The guards that are around the area, you're talking. You probably passed the river's crossing, eh? Yeah, that's not my people. That's the Kingsmen. They all pay for that. It's like a government facility, I think is the right term. The King's facility to guard over in the event that I let a serial murderer or something pass through the gates of Wren's Fork. They have a second, checks and balances that they can check on, even though most people just go to Husfram, so like, it's fucking useless. Anyway, they speak very much the what's it at the beck and call of the king, eh? So if they were having any troubles or disturbances, it's probably an issue with the king. I wouldn't think too much about it. Not for nothing, but they don't really trouble us this far south. Often I get the fancy folk come through and they complain about the smell and there is all this pollution in the population and all this stuff. They're a bunch of dickheads, eh? I mean, respectfully, not you all, but never mind. My opinions are not reflective of the king's mercy, eh?
Of course. It was just a curious thing to see in our travels.
Yeah, it is curious, of course, yeah. Hopefully they didn't trouble you none, eh?
If I recall, they even requested assistance, though we were busy.
Well, strange times. It's most likely it's the prankster from the mornings, yeah.
I was just about to ask if you hear that over on this side of the mountains.
Oh, ever so often, yeah. It's a little shaky, to tell you the truth. But oh god, what a comedy act, eh? You can hear every so often, "I'll kill you, you king guy." It's pretty funny. I mean, depending on who you are, it's pretty funny to me.
So we were in Silverhearth. They were taking it much more seriously.
They have a how to say this? Can I speak? I know I have a terrible way with words. But can we speak as friends? We don't to put on airs or things of that sort. I mean, I have my title, of course, but I want to just speak freely, huh?
Of course.
Yeah, thank you. The people of Silver Earth have what you might assume, or rather, be presumptuous of, a rather large stick up their asses, eh? So many of them are worried. Oh, what will the king think? Oh, what will the inquisitor think? Oh, what will my mother think? You know, we don't worry about that, here in Fork. It's all copacetic, yeah? You just kind of go with the flow. You love who you love. You kiss who you kiss. You do what deals you want to deal. It's a lot nicer to live this way. These individuals in Silver Earth, they are... Oh God, pinky in the air and head up their own ass, eh?
Definitely.
Yeah, I still remember when my father was fighting in one of the last giant wars. They used to treat him like shit. He was a squire, and you know what? It's something to say here, because he was a baronet his whole life. He was granted nobility from my grandfather for serving in the war, and continued his nobility for continuing to serve in these foolish games that we had no right in doing. But that is a personal preference of mine, yeah? I was given this title because I stuck with it, and I didn't speak out, and I was yes sir, no sir, and it got me many things, but it did not get me happiness, huh? It wasn't until I established this barony and took over the station and lands of Ren's Fork that I found happiness, huh? I found it with all the beautiful horny people, as a tiefling and the satyr boys, and all of the nice olive skin folk, even yourself. How you say was the if all the elf girls and boys, beautiful people, rich cultural histories. Truly, it is a marvel that we ever accomplished anything under the tutelage of the king. And not to, of course, knock on wood, great king, mercy, whatever. But it always rubbed me the wrong way. I got spat in my face. If I walk for any of those formal balls, they tell me, oh, Baron de Cruz, you sleep with the cows and you fuck the chickens. I don't fuck the chickens, okay? I just happen to see that the world has more beauty in it than tan skins and rounded ears and furrowed brows. Okay, maybe the noble girl at the other side of the party is not the most beautiful jewel in existence. Maybe it's a crime for that, eh?
Having spent only a few nights in Silverhearth, I can very much understand.
Yeah, they do not seem to find the way the world is turning, eh? And it would be a good thing for someone to finally put them in their places, I think. Really, really stick it to them, And it might be at my detriment, but it's far too long now that the butt that is warming the throne is not the butt that is open for all people. That's probably not the right way to say that. I forget, you know what I understand, yeah?
Open your butt, yeah.
Yeah, like open it up and let. Wait, no, you make a joke. No, it's just to be more accepting, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would be for the best, but I think we find ourselves in a difficult transitional period for Silverhearth and where borders lie. Perhaps this event, this morning show, will show some of the faults in how the king views others and what they have done.
Or it perhaps it makes it a little bit more what to say, aware just how weak the king's army is without the implementation of other races. It's only so many people that you can offer nobility to for servitude before you realize you don't have enough men in the kingdom. It's a lot of land, not a lot of people.
I've noticed that.
Expansion only goes so far, eh? You need to have the numbers, and I don't think that he has the numbers. But I overstep. I speak a little bit too loosely. Must be the wine, eh?
It's quite all right. We were speaking freely as
Very.
friends.
So then, as friends, how much would you say there is weight to this situation that these counterfeit boys and girls are still around?
I think it's mostly handled, and I think that we're here mostly for pretenses.
Mm.
But it is something we must do.
Oh, very good. As I say, I am at your services with your investigation. If there's anything that you need answered, or people you need to talk to, or at least a place to call a forward account and make the guest suite and the wing all at your mercy, eh? There's even a door at the far end of the wing. You can come and go as you please. I will inform all of my people, if you so choose, that you are to be treated as family and treated very well and respected, and to assist you in your investigation. I can only speak for the people under my employ personally, but anyone in town, I tend to have a rather good reputation, yeah?
Thank you.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Baron. We do appreciate that.
Of course. More than happy to help. I'm ashamed, in a sense, that I have had to have two groups of weavers chosen come out to Ren's Fork and waste their time spinning wheels over finances and economics, and it's not the most flattering thing, I assume, yeah? As weavers chosen, I always hear, as a boy, these stories about... they go and they slay the Manticore, and they went through and they fought the great Balors. They tamed the East, and they fought the West, and they brought down the corruption everywhere they turned. And I feel like economic policy and the counterfeiting kids are a bit below you. So I am terribly sorry for your wasted time.
Well, sometimes that's just as important, you know.
I guess if you want to gild the pocket, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes folks, money is what makes their world go round.
Ooh, truthfully said, yeah. It's often, though, you can find where the money is being spent and track it down to the source, and it's never a good time, yeah? As they,
Point to that.
yes, as they say, money buys a lot of things, but it don't buy peace of mind. Please, before we let the meal go cold here, he starts filling his plate back up. He looks out to you. Is there anything else I might be able to answer for you or provide at this moment in time? Of course, you're going to have a well taken care of rest. I can have anything prepared: wagons, carts, carriages, you name it. I have it. Anything you might need, just let me know, and I will do my best for you to answer or to provide. He starts eating.
We have a rather sturdy wagon and a few steeds. Is there anything that we could get to better protect them? I've heard the steam fields are treacherous.
Oh yeah, they are not good at all. No, the best you could do would be to get coats. They make this thickened leather. It's like out of a blubber, I think. It's like seals or something like that. I'm not 100%. I've never had to use it. But they sell it out in the market. They ship it in trade from a number of people from Orin. But this blubber material, they weave it into like a thick layered leather. And they often put that around the horses and around the tops of the wagons, just to protect it from the heat from the area. That way they avoid burns. I'd probably make sure that your horses have fresh shoes. They don't want to burn themselves or run into any of the unfortunates.
Of course not. We'll have to make a stop at the market before we head down there, then get everything in order.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, if you visit the market and you tell them, Baron de Cruz, he sent us over here, I guarantee minimum 5% off. Whatever this, immediately the prices go down. They love me. They love me in Rinsford, okay?
Oh, that's good to
Is
know.
there
Mhm.
is there somewhere to purchase magical supplies?
Magical supplies? Like, you need like a magic chicken or like a beans or something?
Scrolls, potions, and such.
Scrolls, potions, such. Well, I'm not, and he kind of like looks over his shoulder to his butler, and his butler kind of like gives like a small nod before stepping forward and goes, there are a number of places in town, that individuals deal from that, but being that we are primarily a merchant city, or I guess hamlet, they don't tend to establish a formal, post. You'll want to go to, the Fork Fortunes. It's the trading depot that exists on the south end of town. They tend to make a number of purchases from traders that are arriving from the south and those heading northward. They try to keep a rather eclectic stock of random materials that you might find to your need.
Thank you.
Yeah. He goes, of course. And he looks to the Baron. The Baron kind of like nods and waves to him. He goes, yes, so, they have all that. And, if you're looking for something else that's a little bit magical, there also is the sopping guppy, if you want to spend a couple of, coins and not ask a lot of questions about things, they got good stuff there.
Okay, well, that definitely sounds good.
Yeah. You those of you with good perception note that his butler like coughed a little bit when the Baron suggested this, but it's kind of the only thing out of it.
It's kind of a selfish want, but I learned about a thing called collected conquest.
Oh.
Is there anywhere to find stuff like that?
As you say this, the Baron's face brights up and he starts snapping his fingers. He goes, go get my fucking deck right now. I want to play. You have a deck? Oh, no one ever wants to play me. Hold on. Hold on.
I don't
Hold on
know,
a sec.
I don't
No,
know
go get the
anything
deck.
about
Go
it.
get the deck. Wait, you don't? Wait, what? And you see his butler like looking around.
I don't know quite anything about it. I saw some folks, there was some tavern run by a bunch of lovely little kobolds.
Oh, yeah.
They were playing it there. They didn't really explain it, but it looked very interesting.
Yeah.
I love cards. It's very different than anything I've ever played.
Oh, let me tell you, the cards are amazing. They have so much beautiful artwork on them. I have a very good deck, okay? I use a thing known as the Dragon Blood, and it is like you play your cards out, and then you summon these big dragons, and the dragons, they run, they burn the other cards and stuff. It's super great. Yeah, I love it. He's from my horny friends over here, and he points to the tieflings. He goes, they ship it all the way from the south, and they bring the cards with them. I don't know that we have a dealer or a pact maker this far north, but I had a person come bring me cards from out of the Lake Loria area. They had shipped it all in, and I've been trying so hard to find the Swamp Sage. It is a rare card, and there's so many packs to make, but you slap it down and it turns all of your opponent's cards into green cards, and they're screwed. They can't do anything. I haven't got one yet. I want one, and I want one that has the and he like starts going into the description about how there's like certain variants of the same card that are more well done and they're full art, and goes into like effectively like a nice like 8-minute rant about how cool it all is. He's like, if you ever want, and you get the deck, you could come back and maybe we could play, and that'd be cool.
Well, I will be on the look for a deck if I want one, and I'd love to learn how. But I will come back and play Collected Conquest with you.
I'm so sorry. I would share, what I have, but I have like a set aside, like it's like a trade, so like if you get some good cards and you want to trade, I can trade with you. I have some of the best other, cards in the sets, but I don't have any. If you don't have other cards,
Yes, sir. Totally understand. Thank you, though. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that other people play.
Yeah. And you go, Sanson, you could teach her with your decks. And he goes, no, sir. It's you'd want her to get her own deck and cards. He goes, oh, but it's like, every time you play, you just give up, because you play very well, and then you suck all of a sudden. It's crap. He goes, I just have terrible luck against you, sir. He goes, yeah, apparently. I see your hands sometimes. I'm not stupid. He goes, of course not, sir. So, this guy, I love this guy, but he's too nice. He's too nice. So yeah, when you get a deck, please come back.
I'm sorry, I don't. What is this, JJ? Magic cards?
So, there are some tiefling boys at that inn that we stayed at the crossroads.
I was a bit distracted with my own business, so I didn't really get much time in the tavern proper.
Yeah, they were playing, and like when you play the cards, like art pops out of them, and they kind of look like those tarot cards. But they're really pretty, and I'm not gambling. So that's the key.
Oh, we should definitely try and find some then.
But it's technically not gambling, but like you do have to ante a card. So like when you lose, you do lose cards. So it's kind of like gambling in a way.
Well, I'm not going to get in trouble with fixers or anything, right?
Oh,
Like
no,
if
I don't know.
I'm gonna be very frank. I got in some trouble back home.
Okay.
And with a fixer and whatnot, and I was told, do not come home with a gambling problem again. So,
No, I wouldn't say it's like a problem, because like most people don't like to wager gold on the games. Some people do, they're what was the sense? What were you saying the term was? They're called tryhards, sir. Yeah, the tryhards. The tryhards are always like, oh, we're going to wager 10 gold on this game. Fucking these guys. But then they never want to wager against me. Whenever I go into town and I'm like, I'm going to play some games, they always, oh, we don't want to play. Oh, I left my deck at home. Oh, fucking excuse, Never get to play anybody other than Sanson. He just gives up all the time. He's like, oh, you have me beaten 6 moves. Like, I don't even see how many moves I have, I just want to play my dragons, and they burn everything. It's a dragon. And he's like, again, it's a lot of. He looks at Vel and he goes, I'm telling you, it's a great game. I for a long time, I didn't have anything to do. I was hanging out with the wrong people growing up, and I ended up making a journey further south. I found one of the kind of how to say, like it's like a vendor that exists just south of here, and got my first deck. Ugh, never look back. And now every so often I save up some of the monies, and I ship someone over from the south and have them bring some packs with them, and I make the packs, and then I add my cards in together, and I make my deck strong, sort of good.
How much does a deck run, if I could ask?
Well, they usually like to give you one, like for mine, they gave me like a whole playable deck, like right out of the box, but like it had like only like 1 or 2 good cards, so then I had to like, finagle for it. I don't want to say that like, my deck is like a normal deck. I spent a lot of, there's a lot of value in my cards. Okay. I try really hard to get multiples. I haven't gotten the green dragon I need real bad though. I want that one real bad. But I have gotten a lot of there's this azure blue. He's got these blue eyes, and you summon, and he can like come out right away and shoot lightning and shit. It's amazing.
Lovely. Am I gonna spend?
Fascinating.
Yeah. Do I need to spend like a bunch of platinum to do this, or
Uh,
gold?
It's hard to say because like it depends on the vendor. They different packs are worth different things. Some of the older packs they're worth different amounts. Someone had one that was a pack for just 3 cards, and like there could be really good cards, but like you don't know. It's kind of like random. So like you don't want to fuck around, and then you end up with some crappy cards, and then you're stuck with them. You have to trade them off or do whatever. It's it's
Oh.
bad.
Well, thank you for at least clearing it up.
Of course.
It
Yeah.
is still quite interesting. Maybe, hopefully, I can get into it, and I'll come back and visit you for that.
I hope so. Yes, Cole. What do you need?
If you guys just want to do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle City thing and turn this campaign into that, I'm totally cool with it. I
We will
just
reach a
know
point where that is a session, and everyone will get a deck.
Colt is gonna be Joey Wheeler and just be the worst. What do you mean? I got all monsters. That means I win, right? I'm gonna summon them all.
Got all the monster cards. And they just like
Oh
Is
yeah,
the Baron
you don't
going
like
on
that?
I'm gonna love Colt. 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 I don't think you get to be Joey Wheeler. I think you get to be Bandit Keith, where you pull a freaking gun out.
Listen, all right.
Listen here, Tom Wizard's the best card. But he goes, yes. But no, there is an outlet. Just in Orin. They don't have some of the rarer stuff, but they have a lot for beginners. A really good local scene, though. I vacationed a couple months ago all the way out there. Beautiful game. If you get a deck or multiple decks, come back and play me. And I want to taste defeat. No, I mean not like defeat. I want to like lose, because I've never lost. I'm like a winner. So, I'd put my 208th win streak against you. I'd be nice though. I'd be nice to you.
Can I look around, or
Mhm.
can I get the impression that maybe Samson is just sick and tired of playing against the bear?
Oh yeah, 100%. There's no check needed. Just from everything the Baron said, every time like Samson like hears this, he just kind of like puts his hand on his forehead, and you can tell that like it seems to be a very popular game among tieflings, and that seems to be where like the game is coming from, and very much the butler loses on purpose to the Baron, because he doesn't want to beat the Baron and hurt his feelings. So it seems to be like a thing where they're just like, yeah. Oh, yeah, you beat me again, like scoops, and then like calls it a day.
Heard. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna sip from her jar at this point.
Sorry. So yeah. Oh goodness, sorry. My heart is beating so fast now. I was very excited. I thought we were going to play. Is there anything else you all might need? I want to turn in a bit. Just so I can get cleaned up and refreshed. I have a meeting early in the morning with a number of individuals that are trying to. They want to open a new town. They want to settle across the river, a bit to the north, more towards the Barrens. But I don't know that I can allow it. You got to meet with them, and they're prospecting a bit. So if there's anything else, please. Time is no option here. But otherwise, if you would excuse me, I can get ready for an early night. Huh?
I think we're all well and good now.
All right then.
Thanks.
Oh, good. All right then. So yeah. To each of you, I wish you the best. Good luck in your investigation. Sanson, if you make yourself available to them, eh? And he goes, of course, I would be more than happy to. I will be at your services, lords and ladies, if there's anything that you might need. He goes, good. Yeah, more of that, eh? You don't smile enough. That's why people are afraid of you, eh? So, I bid you a lovely dinner, great company. You got my heart racing here, lightning, eh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I read you in the report. Yeah, ears and antlers. You got my heart racing. I'm excited. If you come back, I will duel you, and I will defeat you with my dragons. But like, after I teach you the game and make sure like it's fair, I don't want to be like, here's my dragon, and you're like, here's a sprite or something. That's pretty unfair.
Yes, sir. I definitely understand. We'll have a whole session.
All right, yeah, we'll have a session. Oh, well, I mean, a game session. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
He,
yes, sir.
he
Game
like
session.
he like slides out of his chair a little bit and stands up, and you notice, like, again, for being what is considered to be royalty, and kind of having this nobility about him for being a baron of this area, very much his story seems to completely ring true as far as for table manners are concerned and how he speaks. The words he chooses to use are all very kind of laid in for what commoners should be expected of. While a noble in name, his family is not from nobility, and it is very apparent as he has no like table presence and was more happy to like kind of just feed food rather than like very delicately enjoy a meal. He stands up, rises, pushes his chair in, looks to you all, and he goes, again, the Golonti Seekers, if you need anything, please, I am your friend here, and I am more than happy to make sure you get to the bottom of this, eh? All right.
Sounds good.
All's well in Ren's Fork. That's a tagline you can put on your report. He goes through. He kind of like gives a nod to you all, and he goes, a very a glorious night to each of you, huh?
And a good night to you. Thank you, Baron, for the meal and the conversation. Really do appreciate it.
Anytime. I so rarely get friends to come visit, so it's any time, of course, that you find yourselves in need of a companion or friend, I'm happy to be there for you, huh?
Well, thank you. We're here for you as well.
Of course. Just put a good word in with your rapport, and just ensure that things are maintained. The status quo here is very different from where it is other places, and I don't want to jeopardize it. Okay.
All right.
I'm glad we had that understanding. You take care. I appreciate each and every one of you. Mwah. 1,000 kisses upon your hands and feet. May you dream well and sleep better, huh?
Same to you, sir.
Thank you. You're so kind. Right then. See to them. Make sure whatever else they want. More drinks, more food, whatever. I'm turning in for the evening. He goes, of course, sir. I will. I'll have your bath drawn. Thank you. You're too good. And you see his butler kind of reach his hand up to his ear and whisper, and you see this small blue light kind of trail out from his butler and fly underneath the door to the kitchen. And you hear kind of like clanging around a little bit as people begin to get set back in motion. The Baron walks forward towards the far northwestern door, and it swings open before he gets within a foot of it. And you see two other individuals kind of sat to either side of the door, opening it almost at command. And you see the Baron march off before giving another wave and a greeting to you all for a fond night. And then he exits the scene, the doors close, and his butler stands there at attention, walks a bit closer to the Baron's chair, and begins to pick up the Baron's plates, scraps, leftovers, and utensils. And looks to you all and goes, if there is truly anything that you might require while you're in Ren's Fork, please do not be hesitant in that regard.
Another bottle of this wine?
Another bottle of that wine. You're going to bankrupt the man. But sure, I think we still have one that is available for you. He goes, turns, and he goes, I'll have it brought back out.
Thank you.
Of course. And he walks back. And yeah, at this point, you guys have gone through, those of you drinking have already emptied a bottle, and there still is probably about a half bottle of wine left on the table, Buck. But he will eventually, after cleaning up all the dishes, will bring an entire bottle of this wine and set it in front of you. And he won't uncork it for you. And he just goes, another bottle for you.
Have my mage hand uncork it while I hold it.
It comes out. But yeah, you all enjoy a robust dinner. Each of you for partaking for the next day will gain 25 temporary hit points from this feast that has been provided to you. That'll last until your next long rest. So not tonight, but the following night.
JJ,
Past that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
we have to find these magical cards.
I agree.
Yes.
I'm quite interested in this.
I gotta go find a red, white, and blue star stripe bandana and sunglasses
Weird, oddly specific thing you need all of a sudden.
and a leather jacket.
I used to play many different card games. I've not heard of this one. It's fascinating. I have proficiency in playing cards. I'm instantly interested in this.
Oh
I
God.
don't.
I
I
just
think
saw.
I think
just saw-
soldiers get something, don't they? Like
Uh,
that? No, I think it's vehicle proficiency.
You get vehicle proficiency, but I think you also get a gambling set you're proficient in, which can be playing cards from like three Dragon Ante or any of the other kind of like small games. Like you can learn dice and things like that, I think, as a soldier.
What type
Um,
of gaming set?
So let's call it here real quick. We're not going to call the session. We're going to call break. I say let's call it here. That's it. No, let's call it break. I think I saw a blur that was JJ leave, so I'm assuming the bladders are at full.
Yeah.
So for everyone watching as well, mwah, 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 we love you. Let's go ahead and take, well, what do we say, 10 minutes, you think? 9:06? Yeah, 9:06?
10 minutes sounds good.
10 minutes sounds good. Okay. So we'll be right back after this break, guys. We appreciate you for staying on with us tonight. We'll look forward to continuingly entertain you and continuing the story right after break. See you in a bit. Mwah. Waymo, we did it. We're back. Hello, everybody. So good to see everyone. Thank you for sticking with us throughout the break. Yeah, nice little bow break, little bio break, whatever you might have. I'm gonna open this up just so I can see. Oh God, we have 14 people. Okay, we're gonna close that right back down. Thank you, people, for staying up late and watching us. I know we were off for a week. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. But thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. If any of our French friends, I didn't check to see who's in here, but if any of our French friends are in there, I don't know how to say it. Like, oui? I don't know. I don't remember how to say French words. It's hard. I don't know how to say it. So thank you for being here.
Omelette du
Omelette
fromage.
du fromage. That's probably really insulting, Dexter's Lab. Also, I think they might be from Quebec. That's really cool. From Quebec. Good fishing up in Quebec. Yeah, fun stuff. Anyway, now they're going to hate me because I referenced Letterkenny. Anyway, so when we last went to break, the Seekers of Galanti were talking and discussing a number of things with the Baron de Cruz of Ren's Fork. Yeah. And they got questions answered and more or less stated what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. We come back now as you guys are winding down on dinner. Tons of temporary hit points laid at your feet from a delightful feast of a meal. A entire bottle of magically enchanted wine provided to Bucky as he is slowly nearing a very heavy drunken stupor. A couple glasses will really mess you up, just fair warning. For the rest of you, is there anything you want to accomplish before turning back and calling it a long rest?
How late in the day would it be?
At this point, you arrive fairly late. Like, you arrive probably 6, 7 o'clock. After getting cleaned up and prepared, you probably sat down for a dinner with the Baron around 10 p.m. Even still, after like a long dinner, you're probably looking at 11, almost nearing towards midnight. The Baron specifically seemed to have been prepared or waited for your arrival before having a dinner or making any preparations. So clearly he was in the know for your arrival and wanted to make sure he greeted you pleasantly. But yeah, it's nearing the wee hours of the night.
Well, unless we wanted to go check out that tavern before last call, there's not much else to be done this evening.
I don't think there's much to be done at the tavern anyway. The
It's all
static
pretense.
went and killed somebody there. If there
Well-
was any information there, those people climb up.
That's also
Let's
true.
But then when the people ask us that we went and investigated it, our answer is yes, and we're not lying.
We We can just look around, Thinking about it too, a good place to ask might be that other spot that Mr. or Baron de Cruz was talking about, the
Other
guppy.
Sopping guppy.
The guppy.
Yeah, sopping guppy.
Yes, Samson had a bit of a reaction to that. What sort of an establishment do you think it is?
I think it's shady as hell. But all the more lovely.
I don't know.
I have a
I
theory, but I don't want to share it because it'd be all the hilarious. I'm right, and we go there.
I don't know if it's a good idea to go roaming in the middle of the night, especially to a bar. There's going to be a lot of drunken people and easily offended. I don't know if that's such a good idea to be asking questions at this time of night. But I mean, whatever you all think is best.
But that's when all the people will be there.
Yeah, but they're going to be real drunk.
Well, I'm real
Bucky's
drunk.
real drunk right now.
As Bucky says this, he's like, "I'm real drunk," and Colt's standing to his left, and Bucky's looking straight. He's like, "Yeah, Colt, I'm real drunk right now." I mean, he's together, but like he's clearly not looking at Colt.
It's just a matter of if we want to put any bit of question and understanding. It was honestly, I more want to understand what the static dealt with in this individual and this explosion, and they didn't even really handle it. Something was going on. Something being transported.
Yeah, that's why I said maybe. I don't know. We could always check out whatever that little cabin was that he had
We'll
mentioned.
likely be stopping there. That'll probably be a good place to rest on our way to Kinsmouth.
Yeah. But at least tomorrow I know we got to get the blubber. The blubber
Yes.
suits.
And Bucky was on point. I would like to check out the Forked Fortunes to see about some scrolls.
I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. So, anything else before bed?
Is Samson in the room?
He can be called upon. He would have told you just give him a call whenever, like whenever you might need it. But if you call out, he said anywhere from like the area, there are a number of small, kind of like, they're not like rope levers, but they're definitely like pulls in there. And he says any of those ropes, if you hold it in your hand and ask for him, he can hear you.
Okay, she's gonna grab one of those. Say, Mr. Sampson, could you get me a written explanation of the rules of collected conquest? That would be super awesome. Thank you so much, sir.
There's a pause, and then you see this kind of blue light trail and arrive back at your ears, and you hear, I could provide the rules to you, but typically it is much easier to simply acquire a deck and then the rules will be given to you at that time. Typically you don't want to overload somebody until they understand what it is that they have. I will say this, however. There are a number of individuals in the town that do partake in the game, a number of the wait staff as well, and I've heard a rumor that one of the practitioners of the game is in the local market. You might be able to catch them tomorrow morning if you look for them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sampson.
Of course. Is there anything else that you might need, my darling?
No, sir, thank you.
Very good then.
By the way, we haven't checked on our gnome friend. Wasn't he was supposed to be? Oh,
Mhm.
we did.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yes, he's very much so taking advantage of arriving at this estate with us.
Yeah, as you say this and you look down the hall, there is a collection of like empty plates and bones, and like a number of like hors d'oeuvres that have been partially eaten, sat outside a door with like several napkins laid over it, and many empty bottles of what appears to be like small beers that have all been drained.
All right. Stand corrected. Well, I mean, are we just going to bed, or are we gonna go to the tavern? It's up to y'all. I mean, I just need to know if need to get my piece ready or not.
Your piece?
But
I mean, we are keepers of the peace in a sense.
but, that's what
Are
I'm
you-
calling this
Are
thing.
you talking about that blaster?
You named it
Uh,
the piece? Your piece?
my piece. It's a piece of
Does it bring you peace? It's very loud.
it.
I think
It's definitely a peacemaker. I'll say that.
Ah.
I'm gonna nudge Bucky. And right, it's a peacemaker, right? Yep. That's what it does.
It does do that.
Are we going to the bar or not? Like, let's not focus
Let's
on
do
what
it.
I call my weapon.
I could go to walk off this meal. I'm quite full.
Ooh, Bucky, what is that noise? Sorry, I might have been Jay. Okay, sorry, continue.
Okay. I could certainly go to walk this meal off and stuff to kingdom come.
Let's go, and we'll get a better understanding of the city, not just a lord's estate.
Yeah, I think I already like this place a little more than the rest of the other folk I've met in this kingdom.
It's pretty
But
fair.
Let's go.
All right. So you guys are gonna head out from the Lord's Manor and head to the inn.
yes.
Okay.
Yep,
River's
Bucky
Peace.
brings his bottle of wine with him.
Fair.
Bucky, you're bringing a bottle of wine to a tavern.
Sure.
A
why
bottle of
not?
wine that is likely worth more than the tavern.
Bucky.
I'll drink it on the way. We can share it on the way.
That's pretty
Right.
fair, I guess.
Got to pregame a little.
I am not 140 anymore. It's been a while, but sure.
Easy enough to do. So you guys head out. You reach for the city itself. You exit out from the manor. You do note that there are a number of individuals who greet you rather warmly. Just members of the wait staff that kind of look over your area and thank you for your hospitality. You note one of the doormen look to you and goes, "Oh, you're leaving for the night?"
Yes. We will return.
All right. Well, we'll leave a candle on for you. The night shift will be taken over, and they will be happy to help you.
All right. Is there any information that we should let them know so that they don't get confused or anything?
If they get confused that two goblinoids, a hare, an elf, and a satyr are all showing up pretending to be you, I think someone have done the due diligence. Worst case, we can ask the little lady to identify you, huh?
Fair enough.
You don't
Just
need
thought I'd
your gnomish friend or to go with?
I don't know,
No,
we should-
he should be fine. Before I forget, I'm gonna go back to my room and get changed back into my usual gear.
Oh, okay. Yep. You go
Get my
back.
stuff.
And you notice at the end of dinner, all of your traveling clothes have been cleaned, pressed, and laid out on the edges of your beds. All of your armor, if it was left in your room, has been polished to a shine, and much of your kind of torn straps or leather working has all been repaired immaculately or replaced at this point. So, Orville, you do note on your bed a very, very, very well made pillowcase that has been completely repaired, and you can't find an area where there used to be holes in it.
I am elated of that fact.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you guys get changed over to your streetwear instead of your fancy clothes, except for I guess Colt, because Colt's like Well, I'm wearing my armor.
Yeah, I'm already wearing my armor. I'm not going to take it off.
You just
It
take
takes like an hour.
your
Take the shit off.
your laundered poncho just slides over the top, and you're like, all right, let's go.
Oh, damn it. They took one of the stains out. That was a good story. Damn. I always use that when I told the story.
Yeah, you look
Orville's
at it.
gonna
And it's
keep
going,
the slippers on.
There'll
oh, sure,
be
yeah.
new stains and new stories. Probably
Yeah,
get a
but that
good
was-
stain at the Sopping Guppy.
That was a really good story. I'll have to tell that sometime.
Oh my god.
Fortune telling watermelons. Anyway, let's get going, I suppose.
Oh lord. All right. So you guys clean up Colt and his crazy stories as well. You make way out into Wren's Fork. You note the manor home is a little under, maybe a little under about a quarter of a mile outside of town. It's very much on like the edges of town, on its own property, its own surrounding area. Seems to be kind of clear of most buildings or things of that nature. You travel for quite a bit of time. Again, inside of like 20 or so minutes to clear the area before you arrive within what amounts to about a hamlet. There is a large southern area that seems to be a market square with various tents and small pop-up shops that have been set up, but not a lot of buildings exist within Wren's Fork. You look it over, there are a number of stations along the riverside that denote various stopping places for any waterborne craft, such as small boats, rafts, or any type of other traversal that might move through the town or need to be shipped off. You also note that, again, the river here forks, much in the city's namesake, or the hamlet's namesake, heading both northwest and northeast. It's one of the easier ways to get in through the Middle Hearth Mountains into Syrex. That you do note that there are a number of stations set up that would show that there are a number of ferries that seem to move back and forth between the two cities, the bordering areas. But otherwise, yeah, there doesn't seem to be too many buildings. There are a number of residential hovels that exist throughout, but they are very spacious, and many places are not anywhere within even like spitting distance of each other. It seems to be a rather low population for such a high trafficked area. You look across, and sat right at the bend in the river itself with its back up against the waters, you note a very large tavern, lights still on, a number of individuals still sat outside, many people very far into their cups from what you can see from the onset. And yeah, you note, and you can see the point, and you can see as you walk up ahead, there are a group of horned individuals, satyrs and tieflings, that are currently sat outside, and you hear one of them go, "All right, Huey Fogger. I bet you 5 silver you don't get it a third time." And you see a tiefling man kind of like stumbling a little bit, seemingly quite drunk, holding his cup, and takes a swig and goes, "All right, you're on, you goat fucker. Here we go." And he whips up a very large knife and throws it into the air, and then looks up and opens his mouth and goes, "Ah, ah." And the knife starts tumbling down. It's like, he's gonna eat it. He's gonna die. Oh, he's gonna die. And it comes sliding down. You see this tiefling open his mouth and whoop, and the knife slides down his throat, and the pommel gets stuck at his lips. He goes, "Arr, arr." And he slowly pulls the dagger out and goes, "And how about that, you goat fucker?" He goes, 5 silver. He digs, and you can see this satyr has like a small kind of, not so much like pants, but a kilt that he wears, and has a large kind of furred pocket in the very front of it, and digs through it and produces a couple of silver coins and pays out. And the group just kind of cheers, and you hear, "All right, next round's on me." They all kind of jeer and cheer, and the losing satyr heads inside with everyone's cups, and they start making way towards inside the bar. From the outside, you can see that this tavern is, again, rather well decorated for being so close to a water source. It houses a number of interesting things as far as like nets and the appearance of like kind of like almost like a bayou tavern. Very much so. It kind of has that almost, not New Orleans feel to it, but definitely like a well-dressed kind of like riverborne feel. The wood itself is showing its age next to the riverside, but still holding strong. And you can hear different cheers and low playing music from inside. But you arrive. If there's anything you want to do outside, you can, or you can head right inside.
I think these folks seem quite lovely this evening. JJ's gonna head inside. She doesn't care.
Yeah. JJ heads right inside. Everyone else good to follow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
inside.
Okay. As you enter into the River's Peak, you note a very large open floor room. A circular bar sits in the kind of like towards the back northern end of the room, but it extrudes out and kind of runs the length of the building itself. There are crossings on either side, but you know that there are like 3 different bar areas that both kind of like intersect and overlap, that allow the staff to pour directly and immediately serve people on either side of the effectively the river's fork, what it kind of seems to be mapped out as. Various tables house a number of individuals, and you can see a various and very much varied collection of races. There are a number of elves and half elves that are sat at tables, many of which are actually like slumped over amid empty bottles of wine. The servers themselves are primarily of tiefling origin, but you do note a few of them that have humanic traits, many of which bearing kind of a demonic origin, but still maintaining much of their humanity. There are a fair number of humans that seem to be in roles of management, standing behind the bar, pouring glasses, ordering various servers to move about the area. And as you kind of take in the area, you do note that there are, again, a very strong populace of various other races. You know hobgoblins, you know actual goblins. You can see, as I said, elves and half elves. And you can see towards the back of the area as well, there are about 6 tables that have been pushed together in the back leftmost corner from you. And there seems to be a small crowd that is still over there, and it's very low energy, but every so often you hear the crowd go, "Ooh, oh shit, oh." And you can see amid this crowd, one individual who is sitting, and you can still see their head over the rest of them. They seem much, much taller than the rest of these individuals. And that is where you're at. Welcome to the inn.
I guess I'll make my way to what everyone's crowding around.
Sure.
Same.
Okay.
Same.
All
I'll
right.
head to the bar.
All right. You head to the bar. And Orville, where are you going?
With the group.
With the group? Okay. So Vel, you walk up to the bar. You're the first to arrive. The rest of the group starts moving past various tables. Many of you note that this late at night, many of the people at the tables are either unconscious from alcohol or have passed out just from how late it's gotten in the evening. Probably alcohol as well. You note many of these people are not being disturbed, and instead much of the wait staff every so often will pass a table, kind of raise a silent signal, and then another member of the team for the inn pulls out a large kind of like sewn blanket and will drape it over a number of the sleeping individuals as they collect up the cups and tankards and things. It seems to be it doesn't seem to be a big issue, and it doesn't seem uncommon for people to pass out in their cups here, especially being like a stopover destination. Many of these people are probably not local, but it does seem as if the local talent does try to make sure people are well taken care of. As you all are making your way through, you can see on the far end of the establishment a small stage, where at this point you can note what you assume to be a member from farther south, a rather strange and curious looking individual, a very slender looking tall woman who has features that are very gaunt, but there is a light on her skin that conveys this almost glow, this etherealness to her. She sits and she strums across a harpsichord, and slowly these kind of eerie melodies seem to play a bit of a lullaby across the entirety of the tavern. Vel, as you're the first to arrive, you pull up a seat. You notice a number of people kind of like slumped over, many in like droning conversations. For any of you that have had a bar life before the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, if you've ever been near closing time, in the before time when we could go outside. There are a number of people that are having these long, drawn-out conversations about nothing. Sat next to you, Vel. You can just hear him be like, yeah, I understand that. And the other person's like, yeah, and I've never really understood taxes. I just think like, we pay and we pay and then we pay some more, It's like, yeah, said it true, brother, said it true. And they just more or less just try to seem to have conversations so they don't have to go home. But it's just like those middling hours before they're ready to tab out. As you sit down, a human man walks forward, a well-groomed beard pulled into a tight braid, kind of walks over to you, a heavy ponytailed bun adorned in his head and bright blonde hair. And he looks over to you and he goes, it's a bit of a late one for you to be turning in. What can I do you for, miss?
Well, we arrived rather late in the city, so
As is
getting a bit of relaxation.
a number of places for that in Rensfolk. Well, welcome to the town if no one has welcomed you thus. Might I get you a drink, something to eat? The kitchen's mostly closed, but I think there's a number of scones left over that I might be able to get you.
No, I've had my fill of food for the evening, but I would love a drink.
Of course, what can I get you? I've got a white, a red. You're into wines, I assume. But if not, I've also got a stout and a barrel-aged. That might be a bit of a darker if you're into that.
I'll have that barrel age, that's different.
Yeah, of course. It'll run you 2 copper pieces.
Certainly.
Cash out. He'll take them, slide it back, walk away, and you see him go grab a large kind of wooden tankard and fill from a keg this kind of like very dark, heavy looking ale, and goes and sets it in front of you. Goes, if you happen to need anything else, my name is Paul. Just give me a holler. I'd be more than happy to help you, miss.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Of course. Might you need anything else at this time?
I think I'll just take in the room and relax for a bit.
Good on you. I'll be here if you need me. And he goes and walks the rest of the bar, and like you can see he's like intermittently going and like taking tankards and drinks away from people who are like slumped over, or like just kind of like you can tell the drinks aren't really being drunk at this point. And he's collecting them and dumping them out behind the bar, running them through like much of like the sinks behind the counter, and trying to just get everything cleaned up and like wiped down as much as possible. Let's see here. Vel, are you trained in perception?
I am.
Okay, roll perception.
That's 9.
A 9, okay. You look across the bar and the area, and as you kind of like look, you have this like weird feeling that somebody is staring at you. But as you kind of like slowly motion around, sip from your heavy stout, and kind of try to look the area, you don't quite pinpoint who it is who's like staring at you, but you get like that chilly feeling, that paranoia that sets in. That's like somebody is definitely like giving me the eye, but I don't know quite who it is. And you don't want to like be too weird about it and like look around, but you definitely get that sensation. All right. For the rest of the group, you all make way towards the small, low-energy crowd at the back of the area. You can see the head of this large individual, a cowl heavy over the front of their face and features. As you get closer, you can see the bottom of their jawline in a very wide-set smile. Their skin is a very dark, almost onyx gray. And you can hear this kind of booming voice like, yeah, that'll be it for you, I'm afraid. And you just hear like a slam on the table, like a small, like kind of like rap on the table. It's like, oh, you got me again, you fucker. All right. Anyone else going to play him? And you hear a person from the end of the table kind of look over and lift the clipboard up and look it over and go, looking here like, we're in the finals. It'll be Jacob versus Kiner. He goes, all right, who's Kiner? And you see this large individual kind of straighten up, and you start hearing this kind of like flipping sound. And as you approach, you can see that these 6 tables have all been set up, and there are a number of people playing with these illusionary decks. right at the end of it, and sat in the very middle is a massive mountain of an individual sat on 2 chairs in a very heavy cloak to obscure many of his features. But to any of you with even, yeah, exactly. Just hold on. Do we get like for full immersion? We just.
Yeah, let me turn off push to talk real quick.
As a note
Exactly.
of
We
this,
can
this
get
is
it
the
going.
thing that Kareem does at the table.
Whoa. Call me out, don't you?
I will.
So,
It's
yeah.
annoying.
There you go. That horrible sound. Yeah, riffling goes through. You see a rather slender goblin stand up, long red hair, and she kind of gives a bit of a smile and sits across from this massive man, and she goes, "I'm kinda," and he goes, huh, "Kinda small, ain't you?" And she goes, "Yeah, I've never heard that. You're so brilliant." He goes, "Oh, come on now, I'm just having fun." And you see this Goliath sat there with his a very tall deck of cards at his side, and as much as this cloak is attempting to obscure his features, he's still a Goliath. He's still a massive individual with giant's blood in him, and is towering over this small person. The pair of them shuffle their decks, and they start to go in about playing. And you, for where you guys are at, you watch as they're starting to play what appears to be the finals of a series of games for Collected Company.
This is what I was talking about, y'all. This is it.
Mhm.
Watch them.
Orville's gonna mosey on over to the fellow with the clipboard,
You see,
and
you see this individual. He is a bit more stout. He has curled horns and looks remarkably like Bucky in the face, except he's about half Bucky's size and about 3 times the waistline. And as you like walk up it, you're like, man, how are those hooves supporting this much girth? And he's kind of just sitting there and he's chewing as if he's got some type of tobacco or something in his gums. And as you walk forward, he goes, "Registration's already over."
oh, no, nothing like that. I was just wondering if there's any way for spectators to gamble on the game.
Oh, gambling there, you know, you're not supposed to be gambling or whatever. But you know, fancy you're a wagering man. I mean, I could probably see my way. What do you got to ante?
Oh, I got 3 gold on the little lassie over there.
Oh, gold. I'm not interested in that action. Apologies.
Oh, what are you interested in?
Well, cards, of course. I'll trade commons, uncommons, rares, whatever you got.
I don't know the game, but it's got my friend JJ over there real excited, and she'd love to learn.
Yeah, everyone would be happy to teach, but there are a number of rules to it, and it's better for you to get it from a person who can sign you up. Get you a starter deck. They say you don't choose the deck chooses you.
Ah, right. How would I go about getting one of them starter decks?
You probably have to find a vendor in town, I'd wager. There was a feller came in earlier in the evening, said he's got a couple of randomized starters. Might be good for you. I think he said he's starting up in the market square.
What do you look like?
Real tall, gangly fella, big old red horns, a little bit of a screwy eye, and overall just a nice individual, well dressed.
All right then. Thank you for that information. Well, I guess I'm gonna go watch the game.
All right. You go watch the game. The rest of you have been watching at this point. A battle between two individuals that is rather evenly pitched from what you can tell. You still don't know fully the rules. Bucky, Colt, JJ, Orville, make me either an insight check or a straight up intelligence roll. Okay. Colt, what do we get?
18.
18. Okay. JJ, what do we get?
17.
Okay. Bucky, what do we get?
I got a 3, which tracks with how drunk I am.
You're not sure they're actually playing a card game. You're like, guys, the whole time you're sitting there and you're like watching the game. Every so often, your vision turns and you can see a number of female players that are still sat playing like small pickup games, and you're just like, oh, okay. And you're like, your eyes just narrowly focus onto cleavage or like a very beautiful face from a man or something, and it's just kind of like this game has some good fans. Definitely does. Orville, what do we get?
21.
21. Okay, so for the three people not named Bucky at the table, you come to view this battle between the two of them. Jacob seems to play a large tarot deck, and every time he seems to play these kind of like heavy set mountains to the back of his board. From the mountains, you can see like small fires and like buildings that slowly evolve, and he continues to play and lay other cards on top of his mountain cards that seem to augment the illusion that's perpetrated throughout the entirety of the image. Every time he lays a card on top of it, a small camp and smoke fire will come out of the side of a mountain, until eventually he starts dropping what appears to be cards that show massive giants. They're depictions of what appear to be frost giants coming down and laying waste to the field. The smaller goblin woman kind of looks over and kinder is playing a deck that seems rather strange. Every time she plays what appears to be like a kobold to the field, it immediately kills itself, or she plays another card that kills the kobold instead. And every time one of them dies and she takes a card off the table and sets it to the side, you note there's a card on the very far end of the field that has a pile of kobold skulls that continues to build and build and build and build. And many people are like, oh. You all seem to actually follow the game rather well. And you note that from all intents and purposes, the goblin woman is losing very hard. Hand over hand. In fact, for their first game, as they seem to begin picking up their cards, it seems like she does lose. The second game continues as of sorts. The same kind of mechanics seeming to be at play. Big, heavy, swinging creatures destroying kobolds and walls of them. Gaggles, in fact. Before, in the second game, the pile of skulls begins to shake and move and twist and break, and you see them explode in a litany of fire and black smoke, and a large towering dragon rises from the ashes, this black clad creature with a crown of gold upon its head. It roars and breathes out this bile across the battlefield and destroys everything on Jacob's side. You see Kinder shuffle her deck and smile, and they go, "It's all tied up leading into the third game." And Jacob looks over the small goblin, has a bit of a grimace on his face. He goes, "What say we chop?" And she looks him over and thinks it over. And she goes, "I'm not sure that I want to chop." He goes, 60-40, you walk away smelling like roses. And she goes, "I think that's fine." And she reaches up her hand and he lightly shakes it. And they go, "The third round's a draw. You all saw it here." And they both kind of look over, and you can see that each of them has a face-down card that they never shuffled in their deck. And they both take it up and put it back with their cards, and it seems to be what they were anteing for this match. As things kind of come to an end, you see with that the pair of them are each provided a small bit of like leathery black parchment that they scratch on the very front of it, and a small black fire erupts, and a stack of about 5 cards for each of them forms and apparates. As well, there are 2 small individually stacks of gold that are put in front of them, and the goblin Kinder, her stack seems slightly larger than Jacob's, but overall the match ends with a rather amicable ending, seeming to end in a draw and a tie, with the pair of them agreeing on how to split. With that, Vel, back at the bar, you enjoy your drink. Several minutes pass as the group is overlooking these events and what have you. You hear a voice kind of echo in through one of your ears, and you hear, "Have you come alone here? Or might you be with someone?"
I've friends.
If you're ever looking to make new friends, perhaps can I buy you around?
Well, not opposed to new friends or charity of such.
Yeah, very well then. I'll raise to that. And you look and like very curiously look to your left and look to your right. You can see far to the north end near the other bar, an individual kind of like raise a mug and kind of gesture in your direction before a barkeep walks all the way down, stops halfway, fills a mug of what you've already been drinking, and sets it in front of you. And you hear, "Compliments of the gent down the way." You raise your mug, and again another mug is raised from the far end. You note and look, and you can see there is a kind of like a dark, almost brown pallor to their skin tone, and very much that would be befitting a non-humanoid race. It's almost too fine, too beautiful for the arm. Anything you want to do?
I'll go over to this individual.
Okay. You walk over and you can see an individual sitting somewhat alone at the end of the bar, dressed in very like humble looking clothes. Their cloak is patterned with what appeared to be a number of scraps of leather that have been chopped and cut into pieces of leaves and foliage to kind of give the appearance of a more natural look. They pull their hood down and you can see they have one rather well-pointed ear and another one that seems to have been cut or bitten off. The man has a number of scars across his face and looks you over, and you have this wood elf individual kind of look you up and down. He goes, "It is not often that a high elf walks into Wren's Fork. More so one that actually spends time among the locals. I must know your story."
Well, it's a long story that's rather boring for the first 100 years.
Maybe we'll sit a spell and we'll just talk recent events then, eh?
Sure.
He kind of like reaches his hand out and he goes, "Lethiel, pleased to meet you."
Velithil.
"Ah, Velithil, lovely name." And he goes and like scoots over a little bit and allows you to sit next to him. And he, for the most part, just asks you about like your day, how you got to Wren's Fork, very general things. Is there anything you want to try to get information out of? The feeling you get is this is legitimately like a local who is just interested in the fact that there's a half-elf of any type of air about her in this place. Or a high
I'd
elf.
just be curious what he does and kind of his place in this city, if he's a local.
Sure. You ask about it, and he kind of returns back and goes, "Oh, there are a number of things that I might say that I do. A bit of a fixer, a bit of a cleaner, a bit of a doer. For a time, I wanted to see myself as an adventuring type, thought I might see the world, headed far from our homeland, and found myself here among humans, less too accompanying than our people. Nowadays, I guess you might call me a hunter of sorts. I've still got a good ear for finding trouble where it might brew and putting a stop to it, and the Baron's people are all too happy to have proof of the peace being kept."
Oh, that I have no doubt. The Baron seems like a fine man who enjoys keeping things at peace here.
And what is it you would say you do?
Well, I live that life that you found yourself not following. I am an adventurer.
I'm sure your family was none too pleased to hear about that.
Well, they were none too pleased about many choices I made.
I can see that being the case. Can't say that my family much approves of what I'm doing now, living with humans and such. But the money's good, and of course the company is improving daily, I'd say.
It does seem like a good place.
Certainly is that. He kind of like cheerses to that, and he goes, "To good company then."
To good company.
And with a smile, the two of you partake in a few drinks. For the rest of you, the match ends. The group begins to disperse. A number of people start setting about putting the tables back and organizing everything. Is there anything you want to do as the crowd is getting ready to leave?
Not in particular on
Not
my
partic-
end.
All right.
Yeah, nothing for me. I mean, I'll probably help out with the tables.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you set to helping clean up the tables. A number of people thank you very much for your help. Some people that are still kind of like burning the midnight oil look at you, and a few of them are like, oh, and they show you their deck of tarot, and they go, do you play? Maybe we get a game in, yeah? And they
no,
me
go.
or
yeah, for
JJ?
everybody. Any of the people that are helping around here are all into Collected Company. So they're all just like, oh, I've never seen you around here. Might you fancy a game?
We actually are just kind of learning about it in the last few days. We're hoping to get started tomorrow. Hopefully, pick up a couple decks.
Oh, of course. Certainly. I think there's a fella in here came in from the far south. Might get you all set up. And Colt, you hear the same from the person who you're helping with. They're like, it'd be a good thing if you want to get into it. Definitely, it's a game that really takes you with it. It's a good investment.
Yeah, I mean, seems like fun.
Colt, we need to do this.
Gonna do this. It's the nerdiest thing I've ever done, but I don't give a shit. I'm not a soldier anymore.
I'm not a soldier anymore. I'm not gonna get
I'm one
picked
of those-
on.
I'm one of those retired soldiers that really gets into Warhammer 40K and stuff. Like really into it.
It's like, I'll take a whole orc on me right now.
I got
Yeah,
pension checks.
Oh
The
my
I'll pull
lot of Colt learning to paint minis.
It's just Colt.
And
with
this
like
one's I call this one Jeff. I took off his legs to, because Jeff
For
leg
Jimmy?
fell off. Or
for
Jimmy.
Jim-
I'm
for
sorry, Jeff. I don't remember what happened to Jeff. There's just so many that I already mentioned that died, and I wrote down a bunch of them. I don't even know.
Good Lord, have mercy on your soul.
That war-addled brain.
At war-addled brain ears.
Yeah, Jimmy died from the fire avalanche and 300 snakes. Malik got hugged by the naked bear man, and then there's a bunch of other ones.
Oh my God. Oh me meow.
I haven't touched on Jeff.
No one touches on Jeff.
I want to tell some of these stories.
All
I
right.
want you guys to find out about Bill.
Oh,
Anyway.
God. Anyway, Jesus Christ. The group of you help clean up the area. Many people are rather thankful for you. Some as well. The organizer kind of looks at him and goes, well, thank you for all your help. Mike and I get you, we'll fetch you around at the bar, or you'll turn it out for the evening?
I think I've had. Oh, you know what? We could go for. I could go for a round.
There we go. You hear the organizer turn around and goes, hey, a round of ales. And a few people go, yeah, that are still awake. A few people that are sleeping are like, shut up. You hear like grumbles and grunts throughout the bar. As you all return, you can see Vel chatting up a rather fair-skinned wood elf individual who sat at the end of the bar, and the pair of them seem to be like chatting back and forth with like smiles and kind of partaking of heavy drink. You also note that the Goliath is now sat in the middle bar right next to the goblin that he played in the finals, and the pair of them like chuckle and share and a few drinks as they're kind of moving back. From those of you that are more perceptive, you can overhear a bit of their conversation is like, I really thought I had you when I played the Mountain King Comes. How'd you get around that? She's like, yeah, the Kobold deck is really good. I'm really good at it and playing it. I got lucky a few times. It's like, yeah, I'll say you got lucky. And the pair of them kind of are like going back talking shop for the most part. Yeah, you all are provided a regular blonde ale that's handed out to all of you. Bucky, you look at it and there's definitely a churn in your stomach, and you think back to moments of mixing wine with beer. And it typically doesn't end well for you, but if you'd like to drink, you can.
Not gonna do it.
All right.
Been down that road too many times.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you all come into view of this. Vel, at your end, your companion kind of looks over in your direction and goes, "Oh, so how long do you happen to be in town for?"
Oh, I can't say for certain. Could be by the end of tomorrow, could be a few days longer.
Hmm. Well, certainly if you're and your friends, you say, are in need of a guide or perhaps just a tour, feel free to give me a holler. I've got a small trapping den just on the east end.
Well, that could be quite handy. We're likely going to be heading down to the steam fields, and none of us are exactly locals for dealing with that sort of place.
Steam fields, rather peculiar place to go. I have some experience in going for it, but it's a rather expensive venture, especially if you're bringing friends. It's a very dangerous place. Is there something that you're trying to find out there, or maybe like I don't want to assume, but maybe a component you might be seeking for a spell or something?
If only. We're actually just checking up on a recent problem that came through.
Hmm.
Maybe you were aware of it. I heard there's even a scuffle in this exact tavern. Some Weaver's Chosen.
Weaver's Chosen.
Yes, they killed a man here. Or
Oh.
looking for something.
Oh, it's rare to think of a scuffle that doesn't end over that darned card game they play. Can't say I recall one. There was a couple nights, a couple weeks ago, a group of individuals. I wasn't sure that they're Weaver's Chosen, but it makes sense that we never saw them stand for any trial. Came through and seemed to wag a finger drunkenly at an individual before just knocking him senseless outside. Things got hostile, but I thought they handled it rather well. Everyone walked away from it, from what I remember.
So who was that individual?
Oh, it's a small town, but you don't try to know everyone's business. I believe it was, oh, give me a moment. He thinks on this for a bit, and then finally comes to and goes, I think his name was Tavis. He was a builder of some sorts. I had seen him in the market before selling small trinkets, wood carvings and other types of small knickknacks of the sort. A number of the town's children liked him.
And he's still operating that business now?
No, it was the most peculiar thing. He had that incident, and I believe he left town. His house got renovated and re-rented out to someone else, and I think the whole experience with those travelers really soured him on a walk through town like this.
Strange things.
Wonders never cease. It's every day, though, you find with it. Not everyone can deal with new faces every other night. Some of us are better at it than others.
Indeed. Well, I'll certainly consult with my group and see if would be interested in hiring out your services.
Of course. And do look me up. I'd be more than happy to provide my services for a reduced cost for a fellow friend of the South.
Oh, that's much appreciated.
Well then, best be that I turn in. I do hope you have your friends escort you back home. It's not that it is a dangerous place, but men get stupid when it's so late and they're so deep into the cups.
Yes, we'll be fine and travel as a group.
Very good then. Be well. And he reaches into his coin purse and sets down a stack of 3 silver. He goes, to clear me up. And he calls out, and you see the bartender look over, see the stack, and give him a thumbs up. And he kind of nods off, and he goes, "It has truly been a pleasure, Miss Velethil."
Pleasure was mine, Messiah.
Well then, may we cross paths again. And he kind of gives a small bow and exits from the area. The rest of you all see Vel's companion leave, many of you finishing your drinks and ending in the rounds. Anything else you guys want to do or remake? Or re-meet up?
I'm gonna walk over to Val.
Same.
Okay.
So, who was that?
That was Nathaniel. He's a hunter around these parts. Could be a useful companion to have. Help us transverse for difficult areas.
Yeah, companion.
Colt, if you want to fuck him, go right ahead.
Oh, what the hell, Jesus! Or Weavers.
I haven't
Good.
staked claims or anything, so feel free. Do your thing. You're very good at it.
I mean, I'm not. I was just saying, he's an elf.
Now, Colt, do you see how you tried to insinuate and put something on me, and I turned it right around on you?
Well, I'm not good at being mean like you are. You're professional at it.
Damn right.
Whatever. Me and JJ are gonna go play this card game. You can go.
Oh, they're playing a card game here.
Yeah, they were having a little tournament actually. They won some more cards at the end.
It's a good
So
thing Morgan's out here.
The runner gave it to them?
Yeah, so you win, you get more cards.
Oh. Well, that's nice. Well, they mentioned... Well, you mentioned someone might be selling starter decks soon?
Yeah, that's what a couple of the folks told us. They said we should play, and that there's someone in town in the square, and to pick up some decks.
Well, so
So we'll
here's the question. What if this person doesn't have 5 or 6 of them? How are we going to decide who gets... I mean, obviously you get first dibs, JJ, because you found this first. That's only fair. But between the rest of us...
I mean, I'm willing to sit out if you guys want to have fun with it, and I'll find my deck, eventually or something. I'm okay with that. I
we
mean,
can always also share a little bit too. I mean, that's all right.
If you don't mind me piping in here, that little fella, the one who seemed to be running the show, said that it's the deck that picks the person, not the person that picks the deck. So maybe there's something to that.
I knew a school that used to say that about wands. It was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard.
They were time travelers, and they never used it, I heard.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That fella did seem quite nice. Y'all were smiling and whatnot.
Ah, yes, it's a very interesting fellow. I mean, not few and far between are people like myself and him who make our lives outside of Nymeria. It's pleasant to meet someone from home.
People here seem to be pretty nice, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, I'm rather enjoying it.
I wonder if they got one of them circles like what we took from Iskander.
We could ask the Baron about that. We could certainly copy it down for later, though I don't quite have the skill to perform such a spell yet.
Right.
So what's the play, y'all? You know that it's round 1 or so in the morning at this point, maybe a little bit past. nearing like 2 in the morning. They don't ever seem to call last call, when you start to understand that this bar, being like the only bar in town, seems to stay open for whenever travelers might arrive. You do note that in just the time you've spent, there are already other people coming and going, many of them seeming to be of more goblinoid races, a number of individuals with long, heavy-set beards and scraggly hair, many of them bearing bugbear heritage, clad in a number of like leathers and bones strapped over one shoulder, and several of them kind of looking around, slowly lifting somebody up out of a chair and like sitting them near the bar, and then taking their table and like start getting it set up for themselves, and then waving over a server.
I was able to get a little bit of information about the person that the static hunted down, but all outward appearances seemed like a normal fellow, just made trinkets and the like.
Gotcha.
I really think that whatever they dealt with is truly done, but we'll know that for sure once we've seen the steam fields and are on our way towards what really matters.
Maybe I'm being a little paranoid, but aside from like the obvious, you know, whatever, someone gets away, whatnot, something just feels off about all of this. Something feels like there's someone that is definitely not telling us the truth. Like a lot of it.
I mean, our entire quote-unquote assignment is just kind of a front to get us into the area we need to be because the prince is handling Kin's Plummet and is likely going to fail.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not calling out our host, but something felt off about that. I mean, I don't know. Just something felt really off about it.
Well, if it helps you feel better, Cole, I kind of scoped him out, and he just kind of gave me the same kind of feelings that the fancy folk from this area kind of give me. They're all kind of like out there, not really like. They'll give you enough, but they don't want you all up in their business, if you know what I mean.
I think he is a man who enjoys his pleasantries, and he lets the like of Samson handle a lot of what his duties are around here. He seems like a figurehead to me.
I think he's or at least trying to be a good man,
Oh, I
nonetheless.
completely
So
agree. But I just don't think that there's really actually anything left of what our assignment is here.
No,
And
more than likely
whether
there's not.
there's other things going on in Ren's Fork, which there probably are. There are everywhere. Every city has an underbelly.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I think he's. I don't want to speak too loudly about it, but I think there's something that he might be hiding, and that's why he doesn't want us necessarily looking too closely, and he's been sort of treating us so nicely. I mean, we've never been treated that nicely, I don't think. I mean, maybe up in Iskander we were treated somewhat nicely until they booted our ass out, and then they wouldn't give us our clothes, but
We were
even
treated...
so we had performed a task in order for them to
Mm.
do something.
what?
This is
And
just right out the gate. They're treating us.
Well,
I don't know.
so let me be honest. From what I know about this area and this guy, he's, for lack of a better word, shit talked for who he is. He's known to be nicer to our kind of folk. In general, he's just known to be better than the most humans.
And he stands to benefit greatly in the perception of others who may listen to our accounts as we return and state that Ren's Fork is all good.
Fair enough. All right. Just guess I'm just being paranoid then.
I'm Listen, it's a job, even if it's not really a job. That's why I tried to get some information about it, but it's trying to get water out of a dry well. But we can look into it further. We're going to. We're going to stop at the location in the steam fields. Still on our way. If there's something else that you're sniffing out, we can look into that too.
It's probably nothing. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably just making a mountain out of a.
Dog molehill.
Yep, there we go.
Mhm.
I was
Dog
trying to think of it. Dog molehill.
There you go.
Or dog molehill. Trying to think of a D&D monster other than a molehill.
Yeah. Dog moles, they're terrifying.
Wow. I have a feeling that if there's anything truly untoward that's so obvious, we'll cross its path, but I don't think we need to dally too long in Wren's Fork. I think tomorrow we can look into getting some protective leathers for our horses. We can look into the more important matter of some collecting company decks. And if we wish to, we could see about hiring Lethal's services. It may not be necessary, but considering the way everyone talks about the steam fields, I'd rather have someone who is a bit more understanding in how to transverse them. I don't think it's a foolish decision to get a local's help.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea either.
Yeah, it
Especially
seems
since
pretty
you got
What?
nothing.
I actually didn't hear you cut out because you whispered into Discord.
I think that was the point.
It's, you know what? Fair enough, Colt. Here's the thing. If I wanted to get some, I'd be at the guppy right now, but I don't have quite the green fever that you do have, so.
That's
Oh.
okay.
It's okay for folks to like people too. We just give you shit because you try to play it off like it ain't nothing.
Well, it ain't nothing. Wait, me or her? Or who are we talking
You, Colt.
about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, Colt.
Exactly.
There's no harm in paying for experience.
Oh God.
So
I will
there's that
remind the
point where we've taken it so far, and then Orville just
pushes it
like
Yep.
so good,
well over.
so good, Orville.
Orville says what we're all thinking, and that's what we need in this
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
in this
there's
team.
there's where everyone's at. Let me pole vault over it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly
All
true.
right, we're on assignment right now, so we shouldn't. Well, we could, but we'll make sure to take Colt to a brothel sometime. We all agree on that, right?
I don't want to
Yes.
go
He
to a
needs
brothel.
experience.
I'm
for,
taking
what's
anyway.
her face?
Elsa's my woman.
Oh,
You don't want to. You're going to need to learn how to actually satisfy a woman, Colt. You have no idea what you're doing.
Listen, all right. I'm a soldier, so if anyone knows how to leave a
Did the
woman
company of other men
unsatisfied,
help
it's
you?
me.
I've heard things in the taverns, Colt. People talk back home.
It has been
Just kidding.
it has been a privilege and an honor to stream D&D on Twitch, and I think this is where I die on Twitch. It's been a real one, y'all. All right. Is
I'm
there anything
just
else you guys
saying,
want to do on
Colt.
the? Is there anything else you want to do at the thing?
No, I could.
Sponsored
we're
by
good,
the U.S.
Yeah.
Navy.
Sponsored by the Navy.
How many C's are there in this world so we can change the In the Navy song?
In the Navy. Oh, Lord have mercy for our soul. Yeah, there's quite a few C's. So yeah, if there's anything else you guys want to do at the inn and tavern, you're more than welcome to. But otherwise, let me know what you want to do. If you want to head back to the estate and call it a night, or if there's any last little things you want to try to attempt before we call it.
I'm good to return and have that long rest.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah, calling it here would be great for me.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, easy enough. You all make sure you settle up with the bar. Many of you having your drinks already comped or covered. Vel having her drinks paid for by another person.
I will tip Paul an
Oh.
extra silver.
Paul takes the silver and he goes, "Thank you. You didn't have to do that."
Good service deserves.
Wish more people were like you. And he takes it and sets it in the counter, and kind of thanks you for your time. Cleans up everything as far as the mess, wipes down your area, and you can hear as you kind of exit the tavern, a number of people still kind of like keeping it quiet to their cups. The newly arrived bugbears still kind of like sitting there, kind of like stretching their backs. For anyone who speaks Goblin, when you walk by their table, you hear the bugbears kind of grumble and be like, "I'm getting real sick of the freaking road. How much longer we gotta go? Yeah, we gotta go till Zug tells us to stop. When's it gonna stop?" You guys walk by. And that's the kind of like bit of their conversation you end up picking up. Yeah. Once you guys head outside, it's much of the same. There are a number of people sitting outside, trying to find excuses or reasons not to go home. Standing out in front of the tavern, many of them with empty cups and drinks in hand. Some of the servers taking in and smoking outside, or otherwise partaking of tobacco during their breaks and socializing with a number of the crowd and passersby. And it seems like a rather pleasant evening in a very small kind of hamlet of a town. With that, if there's nothing left, you guys will head back to the Baron's Manor, find yourselves within very comfy living situations, and be provided a well-guarded and well-attuned and well-earned long rest. As we do that, that is going to be here. The one thing I will say is, as you all head to slumber, Bucky, specifically you, you have a roller coaster of a dream. The moment your head hits the pillow and you leave the physical realm, you start hearing a swooshing of various colors, and you hear these bright musical instruments boom into life, and you are subjected to effectively a techno-colored dream of rainbows and horses and beautiful, well-endowed women and men that are all kind of gallivanting across the area. The wine dreams continue to circumvent within your brain, and the magical enchantments of this drink have dug deeply in with you. For everyone else, you all have wonderful, very pleasant dreams if you're able to have them, anyone who drank the wine. And overall, you have a very restful and recovering sleep. Bucky, we'll say the next time we play, you're going to have to be shaken awake from your deep rest. But otherwise, that is going to be where we're going to call episode 26 in the books. Certainly, I thank everyone here for sticking with us the whole night. Hopefully it was a fun one. It's definitely a different one. A lot of talking, a lot of role play, a lot of getting back in the groove. We're going to be back next Monday for more Second Wake and apparently more Collected Company. That seems to be like, that's what everyone wants to do.
Dual City, bruh.
Dual City. I inadvertently introduced you guys to Gwent, and now that's what the campaign's about.
There's gonna be an undead deck for me to play. It's gonna be great.
You might be surprised.
Mine's gonna be the worst amalgamation of all the things I've run into. Why are there's snakes, there's a giant fish. What is this?
Oh,
Cole,
geez.
what did you do?
Good Lord. Well, yeah, easily enough. We thank everyone for sticking with us all night. We're going to go ahead and raid a friend who just recently got on Twitch and is doing the Twitch thing. So we're going to raid her. We're going to raid them. Remembering things. But yeah, easy as he does. They're super cool people. They draw a lot of awesome elves. So if you like elf art, they're like insane about it. For everyone who checked us out and hung out with us, we will always have the VOD up later this week. Check us out. We're always playing video games or art streams or D&D streams or something. If you want to keep earning channel points to contributing, then we certainly hope so. Oh no, Oh no, suggest a stream game. So sometime this week, probably on Solo Saturday, I will be playing Bad Rats because Shabby Penguin's a monster person. So if you want to see me be tortured on Saturday, that is the plan. Lord God, I was hoping you didn't get enough points.
A lot
Anyway,
of terrible things were redeemed today.
a lot of great
Well.
things. Greatness. Anyway, we thank you guys for checking us out. We hope you have yourself a great night. We'll talk at you later this week. Follow us on socials, yada, yada, yada. We're going to go raid, get your goblin raiding emotes out and get ready. But for all of us here at Second Wake, we thank you for sticking with us. Peace out.